And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alien Garden Live. This one is a Stormy Garden Live because the weather is stormy at the moment. And we are in the garden right now. And right here, we have Claude. We have Claude right here. He has joined us in the spaceship. All right, so shout out to Claude. This is the cat of the garden. He likes to guard the garden at night. And maybe he sees something. Let's see. He's going to go this way. Maybe he's on a little bit of a hunt. There might be something he sees in there. Because a lot of times in here, there's all kinds of stuff that the cats like to look through. And other times they might fight each other in there. But he, let's see. Anything else? Because sometimes he could just blend in. It'd be hard to tell. There he is right there. I think that's him. Yeah, that is him. I was right. Okay, and yeah, he is there chilling. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's there, and he's in his secret cave. Right now there's lots of storms, and I didn't go live. Yeah, hello, Carlos. Yeah, it is Claude. Weather's pretty stormy right now, so I didn't go live earlier because of the rain. Okay. Don't know. Where is he? It looks like he has vanished within the trees. Yeah, that is accurate. That is accurate. So, hello, everyone. We are in the stormy garden, seeing about this cat that's hanging out over here. Looks like he is just wandering through the tree system all over the place. Okay. So, are we going to see any more of him? We're going to probably see some more of him. But right now, he is just going to be a little bit keeping to himself in the tree. Hopefully, he behaves. All right. So, we have a very stormy garden. And obviously, right now, it is not raining, which I've done these stormy garden lives before, but it's not raining right now. But the wind is picking up really strongly. It is knocking through the different trees, and we'll see how our connection goes. So, yeah, you can hear the trees as they get spookier. I will go and turn this off. Look at all that. All that storm clouds. Scared. Storm clouds in the distance. Now, this certainly is a relaxing setting to have. And that's how dark it is without the light on. Right, right. So yeah, that's how dark it is. Like you could see all the clouds. It looks kind of like, I don't know, like another planet. That is true, Wiz. It is very dark. Absolutely. And I'm showing all this so you can see the idea of the trees and the dark clouds that are ahead. Yeah, that's how dark it looks like a black void. But when we do this, you can see everything better. And these are just a lot of these are like Jurassic Park plants where the different raptors like to go. The swamp raptors, which recently we saw the cat. Yeah, very dark. Now, recently we saw the cat Claude, and the picture of him is what Carlos has right there as his symbol. Now, by the way, just a fun fact: we have some sprouts happening, chat. Some sprouts have occurred, so y'all will turn on my headlights and y'all can see it. It is almost like headlights. Okay, so we got a sprout right here. See, that is a garden sprout. It's a sprout of okra. They seem to go pretty quick. They come up pretty quickly. Yeah, headlights, right. Now it's gonna get pretty cold out. It's gonna get a little bit cold, and I planted these summer plants. And you might ask, Alien, why'd you plant these things when it's cold? But I don't know. I thought the cold weather was over with, but it's not. Anyway, so I have that. But and I have some tomatoes over here. Yes, I watch out for the snails. Thank you. We like our snails, and we see them on the live streams, and I do show them on the show when we see them on the different plants. Now, right here is cauliflower, which is good for this type of weather. And I could have, which I could still do, plant the carrots. They would like this kind of weather too. So that is nice, as I like to say. Yeah. Now, see if I could see any snails to show y'all. Okay. 'Cause I don't know if they're out right now because of the weather. But yeah, see, usually they're sitting on these elephant ear plants. I'll take you to the math lab. And thank you, Carlos, for keeping chat in check. Appreciate it. All right, so we got right here the elephant ear plants. Yeah, I remember now these types of plants I'll show you right here. Or these are ornamental plants. Yes, correct, correct. These are not like vegetable plants because the vegetables haven't come up yet. But back in 2017, right? It was a graduation for me, and I put two sickly plants right here, and their descendants spread all over the place. Oh, I'm glad that you like the primrose. Yeah, they're coming out very well. Yeah, so we got quite a few of them. They just spread all over the place, and I want that to happen. Now, during winter, I did a harvest of a couple of different plants, but these are some leftovers from winter, and that is the broccoli. But there's gonna be more, and this is a cauliflower that is going to be sprouting, but it's not sprouted just yet. Hello, Jeremy. Yeah, the alien mushrooms. Yeah, there you go. They're gonna come after the rain. Scared. Hello, boss. Good morning. Happy Fun Day Sunday. Happy Fun Day Sunday to you. All right, and right here is the primroses. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah. Uh, these are the primroses. They sprout they bloom every spring, and they they do very well, and very pretty. Yep. And you got some more right there. Jeremy said mushrooms are wet. The aliens want our world in order, communicate with us, a psychedelic experience. Yeah. Yeah. People that do those things seem to be able to do just that and access their dimension. I don't necessarily recommend that method to do, but uh, they have people that have been able to, when they trip, they'll see the aliens. Now, some people have had bad trips before, and when that's why people have to be careful with those things. But yeah, the aliens are existing in those different dimensions, and some people have communicate with them through there. Yeah, right. And right here is an ancient plant. It looks like another type of plant, but it isn't what you think it is. This is a plant that was used for wheat by ancient people thousands of years ago, and it became just like a wild plant that grows. And I now use it as ornamental plant. It's good for, like these stalks are good for holding up tomatoes or some sort of a pole system. Right. So, yeah, I mean, with the alien disclosure, oh, they're alien fruit. Boss says, oh, yeah, thank you, Carlos. Let's see. Boss says psychedelic mushrooms can be picked and left in the sun for chemical change, becoming an antidepressant compound. Yeah, I recently Trump is signed something to study psychedelics for antidepressant usage for people with PTSD and stuff like that. That's something that I saw earlier. So, maybe they'll figure out something with that. Now, this plant right here is an elderberry tree for those that are new. We pass by it a lot, and they make nice purple berries. Oh, well, boss, that sounds cool for you, and I'm sure that you had a divine experience. That is true, Tank. Odin's son. That is true. Elderberry makes good wine, and people are able to have an experience with it to have nice, natural tasting wine. Of course, the elderberry has to be cooked first before people go and try to consume it. Oh, hello, Lindsay. So with Dingleberry, I believe. Yes, it's hilarious. Now with Dingleberry, this right here must be a Dingleberry right here. Right here is, in my opinion, fits with the narrative of Dingleberry because it has a thorny, spiky plant, and when you walk by it, it starts to scratch you for no reason because it has thorns all over it. Hello, Roman. Odinson said yes. Oh, yes. Mash. The mash has been heated to make it safe for elderberry. Yeah, correct. Correct. Yeah, hello, Roman. Nice to have you here. And right, yeah. So this is another point of view of the elderberry. Oh, Odin, I love mead. That is a very good drink to have. So mead is this what they had in the they would have mead halls and the um different parts of the north, especially the Vikings and stuff, and Anglo Saxons, probably other groups in that region as well. But yeah, the mead was used for it was honey. I've had mead before actually, and it's very delicious. Yes, and one time in the mead hall, there was a beast that came and disrupted everybody that was trying to enjoy themselves in their mead when a big Nephilim creature came in and messed up everything. Oh, he has 10-year-old honey that he's going to make some Special mead. Oh, nice, nice. And nectar of the cyber goddesses. Nice. That's very poetic. And with mead, you have this situation that occurs where, oops, I didn't mean to drop something. Anyway, so as I was saying, going over here, the mead is used for the mead is used for all kinds of things, and specifically for parties and stuff like that. They they wanted people to have parties and extravagant events, and they would use it as a way of celebration. Oh, you wanted the psychedelic honey. I see. And with the yeah, so you'll have a very trippy experience, and maybe you'll see the twilight of the gods there, as the saying goes, and you'll see the other dimensions. Although I don't necessarily recommend that. That's apparently what people can see. So some trippy mead, yeah, yeah, and there's mead holes, and when they went through the mead holes, there was this entity that came in. I didn't know they had weed. I didn't know that the Norse people had weed. I thought maybe they had mushrooms. I don't know if they had mushrooms or not, but I know they had hallucinogenics. I know about the berserkers. Oh, okay, Odin. Gotcha. Okay, they got it on trade. Yeah, and when they got it on trade, they were very good at what they did and expanding their because they went all over the world. So yeah, I I definitely think with the the creature that came in the meat halls and destroyed everything, it was very rude of that creature, and they had to send a warrior to go and defeat him. And the creature, the giant creature, was a Nephilim. You know, it was available that it was found in Viking burial in America. Oh, okay, Odin. I never knew that. That makes sense. I didn't know that though. Good to know. And the thing is, what happens in that situation? You had the brave warrior that went and stood up. So the creature was of Nephilim origin, and he was very evil and twisted. And he lived in a cave, too. Yes, a forest giant. Correct. As we would call it, the forest giant. And this warrior had to attack the mother of the grotesque forest giant, and eventually he was able to take out the creature and save everybody. But yeah, the thing attacked the meat hole first, and his name was Grendel. That's what his name was. And making the meat holes great again. Boss says, and Hein and Kind, we're trying to eradicate the pollinator bees, melt the ice caps, find Uncle Bill. Yeah, there's lots of ice caps and melting, and there are another thing that's happening is some parts of Europe from That exactly, exactly. Valhalla, right? And right, Valhalla, right. So basically, in these situations, I have friends in Germany and different parts of Europe, and they have no bees over there. So or bugs or butterflies. And I do think a part of it is the pesticides that their people use because the pesticides are the reason for it all going downhill. And probably other factors too, but that's one thing that I think definitely is a reason. Oh yeah, yeah. And I was surprised too because I have bees and butterflies and things where I am. Uh, Also, but the thing, yeah, Europe, there's no bugs or anything. Now they blame climate change, but I think it does have to do with the pesticides they have there that are wiping out different species. And Alaska, very cool. Alaska's very cool. Um, one night we were talking about the Alaskan Triangle, and a lot 20,000 people disappeared. So it's a intriguing place. I I would think they have lots of bees and butterflies and stuff there because although it's extremely cold in the summer and spring, it's a healthy ecosystem. Like other parts of the world, ecosystems are not healthy. So I'm sure it's all like a frontier where in that area. We have some people on here on this channel that are from Alaska, and it's, as I said, very nice lands, and there's also some UFO sightings there that I have heard about. There is all kinds of other paranormal activities as well. So very interesting. Odin says we have more people than go missing on land rather than the ocean. Yeah, yeah. And I believe in natural and supernatural things, and I'm not denying natural reasons. Like I'm not denying people get lost or get eaten by something, in the vast wilderness or the cold. But I do think there is a paranormal possibility there. If you had a perspective on why you think people disappear there, I'd like to know. If you think it's more paranormal or something with nature, but or if you had an opinion at all about it, you may not have an opinion about it. But I do think there is some truth to the paranormal attribute of it, and I do believe there is another factor that plays into it, where people are in the wilderness and they get lost or something, and it doesn't really work out, and it's so desolate, and as I said, it's like a frontier that has not been claimed. Oh, you agree with me, Odin? Okay, oh, cool, cool. Yeah, because I do think both are playing a role, and I do think there could be extraterrestrials that are up there doing something. There seems to be myths from the natives that lived up there that about these entities or these people that try to a voice that like herds you more and more into the woodlands and get you off track. And another an Alaskan told me that there's people too that might lure you in there too. So I think a combination of both. Yeah. So I think that is really something about all those people disappearing up there. And Alaska originally was part of Russia long time ago, and now it's part of the Russian Empire. Before it kind of transformed into something else, but that is shout out to the Alaskan frontier. Okay, and Odin says, like Port Worth, I think it's called, is a small fishing town that evacuated overnight because of creature Bigfoot that had deleted, killed 5 men. Whoa, whoa, that is really, really eye opening there. that there was a sightings of a some sort of a creature in a fishing town, like Bigfoot, the Bigfoot himself. Wow. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because I believe that there are cryptids in that region of the world, and especially with its seclusion, they're able to thrive better than places that are not like that. So, yeah, very spooky. Thanks for the info. So, yeah, I it's a combination of all kinds of different reasons, and there's so many. Nobody's been able to sleep a single night back at that town. I definitely think that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, most would not be able to sleep in that kind of town when there's some kind. You know what it reminds you of? If you see the movie A Quiet Place, it reminds me of A Quiet Place. That movie, because they had to be quiet because there's these creatures that were coming that were going to try to mess up everything and try to delete people and eat people. That's what I think that is like. So very, you know, like a movie, but in reality. Yeah, I'm sure it probably made roars or very strange noises too, I would assume, but I don't really know. And it devoured people, and it's good for people to have self-defense, but sometimes I guess these things could have you may need a tank to take some of them down, I guess. Uh, if people were not having self-defense. Right. Oh, thank you, Odin. Odin said there's a movie called Legend of Boogie Creek. It's based on in the South, but based on real accounts. Yeah, yeah, because the cryptids and the sightings there seem to be off the charts, and I definitely will check that out because the movies are good documentation about these real occurrences that are happening. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. It's an old movie. I love old movies. I'm definitely a sucker for old movies, so that'll be a good watch for me. And the cold weather has arrived down south. And yes, and so yeah, the dreaded sundown. And I mean, there are these different types of theories about them. Let's see. Hello, Lay Ray. I live in folk where legend of. Oh, really? Lay Ray, that's very cool. I mean, it's also kind of like it would be spooky at the same time, of course. But you live legend of Boogie Creek is okay. Nice, nice. Wow. Yeah, I mean that is for the townspeople, I'm sure it could be nighttime must seem of a paranoia. I don't know if it attacked at daytime or at nighttime, but I'm sure that when the night falls, it could be kind of eerie because you don't know if the creature's coming back. So I think, for instance, there is these, different mythologies have different things in them, and like there are ice giants that existed, like in the Nordic mythology and Abrahamic religions, and like the Middle East, there is the Nephilims. So I believe that there are these very strange creatures that existed for various reasons. I think that the supernatural entities, either angels, aliens, whatever, came down and made hybrid creatures, or they were already there. They were just created like that, or evolved like that, whatever, and they exist, and they come out, and we're just not completely familiar with them. And I think that's what those things are. A skunk ape. I'm hearing about skunk apes in different parts of the country because the skunk apes are supposed to just be in Florida. But now I'm hearing that the skunk apes are in, like, out in. the west, like in the desert, like the New Mexico area. Now and so I would be curious to know. It's like there are sightings in other parts of the country too. I mean that. So the skunk ape is this cryptid most of the Bible Belt. Oh, okay. I gotcha. And yeah, so the skunk apes were around different regions, and it smells very bad. Now, there's been theories that it was the swamp stench that caused it, or that the creature itself doesn't smell good. So that is, as I said, different parts of the country are besides the Bible Belt region is seeing these things. Okay, Lindsay said she's in Florida, never seen one. Okay, okay, yeah. I mean, I know we're acting like it seems like people are just seeing them on a regular basis, like it's a seeing like a bird or a seagull or something. Yeah, but there are a few people that claim to have seen it, and it's like a. Sometimes they're described as being kind of tall. Others describe them as being kind of short, and they just roam around and do their ape thing. But I don't know if any people have having like negative encounters with it. What I do know is that people have allegedly have had seen them, and when people saw them, they were like, "Whoa, what in the world is that thing?" In Alaska, I've had very strange encounters with bad smells far from anything, but there is nothing you can see, but you feel watched. Hello, Brig. Salute to you. Welcome to the stream. We saw Claude earlier. He's in the tree right now, hanging out. Oh, thank you, Odin, for your account of your experience. So, yeah, the bad smells. Now, Bible talks about the fallen entities are like smelling like sulfur, just for the record, and the bad smells like kind of like a skunk ape or something like that, and a feeling of being watched. That is a very fascinating thing to. It's very terrifying, actually, what you went through, in my opinion. But it's a fascinating tale for research purposes of your take about it. So yeah, I definitely think that is a sign of something being there, either in a spiritual realm or in a physical realm with you, kind of like something lurking in the shadows. Okay, Tank, thank you for describing what it smelled like. Yeah, I definitely think it could be one of those entities, one of those cryptids. Oh, General Sorrow, it's been too long. Welcome to the stream, buddy. And Lindsay, I'll explain to you what it is. And yeah, so I do think you probably were encountering a cryptid of some kind. Now, the Giant of Kandahar is this giant entity that existed. That they fought it in the Middle East allegedly, and it's had a bad smell to it of rotting bodies. So, you never know. It could be a layer of one of those types of things. So the Chupacabra is this like a dog looking creature, but it's not a dog with spikes on it, and it's like a creature on all fours, and it drinks the blood of goats, and it's a supernatural cryptid of some kind. Yeah, that's what it is. Right, and Odin said before we had seen footprints in the winter, but didn't see or smell anything until prime summer. Oh, okay, okay. So were the footprints large? Like, did they look humanoid, like a Bigfoot type creature, or was it like another type of animal? Now, the legend of the Chupacabra was in the mid '90s in Puerto Rico. with early reports describing it as a bipedal reptilian creature with spines. Kind of like a dog, like full on all fours, but more like a Komodo dragon. It was famously, you know, it drank blood from goats and livestock. And it was also in Southwest United States too, as well, Lindsay. Hey there, Rogue. I am searching for swamp puppies, or what's called raccoons, and seeing if I see any other wildlife. And I'm also trying to see if I could hunt a Bigfoot or a Chupacabra too. That's what I'm doing right now. Welcome to the stream. So it's also known as like a hairless dog too. To answer your question, Lindsay. All right. So Odin said before that we had seen footprints in the winter, but didn't see the smell. Okay. I have a size 15 foot and made my foot look small, and the stride was at least 7 feet prints. Oh, okay. So it falls in the category of like a Bigfoot creature. Got you. Okay. Very cool sighting. As I said, it's a scary thing to see. It's not the best thing to see. It's not something you really want to see there, but I appreciate the feedback about your encounter of some sort of a Bigfoot type creature. It makes sense to me. Well, it looks like there's an alleged skunk ape sighting in Alaska too, and also the other parts of the United States. By the way, Rogue, very nice cat picture, by the way. And Rogue, I believe that they are common in swamps, yes, and in woodlands, in like woodlands too. It depends. They might not be in every place, in every swamp, but they certainly are in in this region. Yeah, Odin, I definitely agree. It would make mine too. It's uh, it's a very especially you're in Alaska where people go missing, and on top of everything, you're like probably in a secluded area. It's not really as my famous line, scared, scared. Yeah. So absolutely. And Lay Ray says land between the lakes at Kentucky Lake and Missouri border has lots of dogman encounters. Yes, I've heard of the dogman encounters. And with the dogman encounters, they have a lot of, it's like kind of a werewolf type thing. That's what it's like. It is known to be like in the eastern part of the country too, as well as Kentucky, because Kentucky would fall into the eastern part of the country too, by the way. But I'm glad to know Kentucky and Missouri also has it as well. So yeah, I those dogmen. So dogman is probably a cryptid that exists within that region too. Odin, describe to me about the lights you've seen in the sky. Was it a type of cryptid? I mean, not cryptid. Was it different colors or was it one color? Because there's classifications. There are orbs, there are flying saucers, and there's cigar shaped things. There's quite a few things that can be seen. Hello, Joseph. Welcome to the stream. Shout out to Aliens Angels. like a slow-moving shooting star that was white, went green before disappearing. I've seen that before. And chat, something that I have talked about was an orb that I saw. I saw a blue sphere and it rose up and then it rose up a little bit higher. Oh, I'm doing good. Thank for asking. It's nice weather. It's nice stormy weather for the garden, and I am enjoying conversation about cryptids and different supernatural things right now with chat. I hope you're doing well too, buddy. And yeah, so I saw an orb before, and it wasn't a drone, and it just moved up in the air, and I thought it was pretty, freaky. It spooked me. I mean, I kept my calm, but it was kind of a spooky experience. And yeah, the Garden of Eden, right? So Odin, I saw one time something I have not mentioned before because I thought it was just a comet or something. I saw something like that before, a slow moving, shooting star thing like that. That was pretty huge over my head, and yeah, it probably was a type of UFO. So yeah, I and what you saw was a UFO too. Now, what you saw was a UFO as well. Now, Odin, there is this other thing that's been occurring in recent times. There has been shooting comets that have been falling from the sky all over the world, and some of them are moving on their own. So it's not just like something falling from the sky like a meteorite. It's like a zigzag or an asteroid. It's something that's moving on its own. So definitely, yes, yes. I remember I saw something like that too. Yeah, it's something disguised as a comet or meteor, but it really isn't. And when that occurs, you have a situation where it zigzags, and I've seen it on tape before. I mean, not tape. We don't have those anymore. I've seen it on the clips before of them moving around on their own. So I think it's a type of orb or UFO of some kind that is moving around. So very interesting indeed. I have also have heard there's something called a wheels within wheels, and it's called the Bible would call it the Ophium, and it was something as a wheel within wheel, and that's what some of the orbs are. Okay, Sean says scene one, do a check mark when leaving. Okay, thank you, Sean, for your feedback about the UFO experience. UFO experience. I, I That makes sense to me that that's what they do. That's some sort of conscientious thing that's doing that. I heard there are fragments of UFOs getting shot down. Yeah, it could be that. That's a very good analysis, especially with the AI Atlas thing, the 3i Atlas thing. It's possible that that could be being shooting things down too. Like it could be things coming from that. Odin said, "I've also seen string of lights that look like Christmas lights that play in the northern lights like a snake." Oh, very interesting. And by the way, northern lights are something very cool that you're able to see. All right. I would love to see something like that one day. Where they do come down south, but it's very, very, very rare for it to be right or anything the way you have it where you are. And the string of lights that look like Christmas, you see, that is some sort of a UFO type thing because the string of Christmas lights that play in the northern lights is something that's disguised with it. Oh, you see the leprechaun. Well, that's good. Well, it means that Chat and we're all going to get a pot of gold now. Look at that. You see, now we have to go. Now we have the leprechaun, and leprechaun's going to tell us exactly where its loot is. Okay, and now we're going to be going over this way to get the pot of gold like yesterday. All right. So our pot of gold is right here this time. Okay, there's a pot of gold right by this tree. There you go. Chat's gonna all get a piece. Uh, scared. All right. So I was watching some interviews last night about a scientist that have gone missing, about different crafts that crashed. And oh, Lindsay, I was talking about that today in my other stream. All these different scientists are going missing everywhere. There's the 11th one has gone missing. And that's very cool you're watching that. And it happened when a cold at the Northern Lights sounded like an old TV static. Oh, it sounded like TV static. Well, you see, Odin, that is some sort of technology. All right, that is a technology that exists within that thing. Yeah, don't believe this dude. He's let's see. Yeah, he's being a Timu Sheen. It's live, and the government is lies. Yeah, so I do believe Odin that you were hearing was some sort of static of some kind, from a machine. A UFO machine. And Lindsay said, dude was saying at least five different species of aliens that we know about. Yes, correct. All right, we're not going to be spamming chat. All right, not going to be spamming chat. There's yeah, Odin. You could tell me as much as you'd like. I like to hear about it. So yeah, I know this is what I know, Lindsay. Tell me if you heard anything different. There's the gray aliens. There's the Nordic aliens. There is the manticids, the the mantisoids. Let's see. Well, they can't come from space because space is fake. Well, if though the theory about the space being fake, then they're either coming from another dimension or they're coming from under the earth somewhere, like the oceans and stuff like that. And type warring alien. And anyway, so we have okay. So Lindsay says, so yeah, there's the mantis. There's aliens that are like the mantis, a praying mantis type alien. There is another type of alien that is the Greys. There's the reptilians. There is the Nordic aliens. The other type of alien, the last one I'd say would be the Ebians. But there probably are other ones as well. Those are the ones that I know about. Or beyond the South Pole, if space is fake, how do we have stars? Because the Earth isn't moving. Yeah. And yeah, I mean it's a good question. So Sean, yeah. There's theories about the Earth like being a ferment. And as I said, I believe in space, but I mean if they're welcome all conspiracy theories here and I look into them because sometimes I just don't know what to believe because there's so many lies being told. I don't really know what is or what isn't at this point. Like when all this Epstein stuff came out and like and all these other things coming out, it's just at some point you got to think about, I'm just going to take everything with a grain of salt and just look at these conspiracy theories and see what they have to say. But yeah, Sean, definitely. And but as I said, the stars, according to the Book of Enoch, which people don't have to believe in it, and the Book of Enoch talks about this. It is from the ancient texts from the Jewish and Christian traditions. And I mean, even I'm not a Muslim, but the Quran talks about it too. All three of the Abrahamic religions talk about the Book of Enoch. And basically, the Book of Enoch was Noah's grandfather or something was Enoch, and he described before this flood happened. Now, people don't have to believe in Christianity or the Abrahamic religions, but according to that, is that there were these aliens or fallen angels, whatever, that came down and created hybrid beings, and like the humanoid type things, or a centaur, or mythological creatures. So some of these creatures that we see, like what Odin and I are talking about, allegedly could come from somehow those things either being recreated by them or them somehow existing after the flood. Yeah, according to that theory, or people believe in evolution and like that kind of stuff, then something evolved over time and made a separate species that's secluded from what we are. Oh, okay. This is a better view. Okay, here's a better view, chat. That's a good question. That's a fair question. Over there, I was showing you all a okra sprout. All right, it was an okra sprout. It may have been hard to see, but it was a sprout of a very nice okra vegetable. So here's a much better view for chat than the Timu Sheen puddle. All right, I read y'all's chats now because I was going on a rant there. And let's see, space is fake and stars, and look 9 realms from Norse mythology and kind of explains the aliens. Yes, and Odin, I believe in their explanation of the aliens, and I do think they're interdimensional, and I do think there is truth to what that mythology says about it. It seems to like universally all the different faiths seem to agree on what those things are. Oh, I've seen them before. Natural Green says in Islam they have jinn. Yes, there are jinn in Islam. That's true, but I do. Well, yeah, that's basically what y'all call them, right? And I do think there are aliens from other planets somewhere in existence, in my opinion. But yes, a lot of these things, what you would call jinn, is these interdimensional beings. Now, some of them could be good and some of them could be bad. Right. Now, I do believe, in my opinion, that the there are fallen angels, possibly, also. That some of the aliens could be from that. And like there was something called the Watchers, and like Genesis talks about they came down and made it with Earth people. Like think about David and Goliath. Think about the people of Odd and how they had those giants there. Uh, those giants originated from the Nephilim, in my opinion, which were from the fallen angels. Well, if you say that jinn would not be considered aliens to you, well, they could be classified under that umbrella. Yes, I do think that the gray aliens are probably jinn, but those things, yes. Aleister Crowley was an occultist, and he summoned a demon that looked like a gray alien. I have a very complicated view of what those things are. So I do think that there are aliens on other planets. I do think that there are interdimensional beings that we would call, either ghosts or demons or jinn, whatever, depending on different culture that calls it's the same thing, but different cultures call it different things. And another thing is that I believe they are of interdimensional beings and also demons, possibly. So yeah, anything you don't know of alien theory doesn't necessarily have to be a gray alien. That is true. I agree. So, like, say how there is different false gods that existed throughout, history. Now, of course, people that believe in gods and stuff like that, I am not necessarily talking about you, but say like there is um, fallen angels that came down and want to be worshipped as gods, right? Those are fallen angels, and they might still be the aliens we see today, disguised as that, right? And there was these other entities that are either good or bad, which are called jinn, which from the uh, Middle Eastern interpretation of it. In Europe, they would call them ghosts or spirits or fairies. They call it something different in Europe. Uh, but yeah, basically, I do believe that they are jinn, yes, but they could also be aliens from other planets too, and they could also be fallen angels as well. They could be the two other things, the three things. I think they are at the same time. A scientist said the universe is full of life. I agree with that, definitely. Okay. And Odin said, "We might be alien. We the only creature that destroys our inhabitant to live." Yeah, yeah. And let's see. Sean said something. The beginning of time would look like a black space with polka dots everywhere and vibrations. Yeah. Oh, thank you for your take on that. Much better. Yes, better than a mud puddle. Yeah, better than mud puddle. No scientist can check if they're anywhere else in the world. Okay. And okay, so Natural says the concept of fallen angels doesn't exist in Islam, as angels have no free will or refuse God, or jinn have free will, and it's why Islam there's a devil who is best of jinn among the angels. Okay, thank you for your take on that. All right, so and so how would you explain like the demons and stuff like that? Just they. I'm curious about what your take on that. So there's a theory, especially from the Book of Enoch, that the demons are the spirit of Nephilims that existed. Like they're the ghost of the Nephilims that so they're not from angels that fell, but they're from fallen ones, the Nephilim entities. Okay. And and Sean said, the beginning of time would look like light of energy from frequencies and look like hard speed on the monitor everywhere. Okay, gotcha. Generally like humans, bro. They literally have free will, choose to do good or bad, worship God or the devil. Okay, natural. Thank you for your take on that. Yes, I'm aware of what the are. I I thought that they believed in the fallen angels too. I was just confused about what the demons themselves would be if they exist in that religion. But thank you. Yes, I understand what jinn are now. So yeah, the basically in these types of things that exist that are these creatures like Bigfoot or Mothman, there's a possibility that some of these creatures that could have been experiments that got away, like the Mothman could have been an experiment that got away. There are other things that exist, that people may have created, like a Frankenstein type creature. And I do believe also that there are these hybrid creatures that were created by these hybrid entities that existed that still exist now in the wild. All right. And Odin said demons have been recorded to also choose to not be bad and certain people. Okay, Odin, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, Sean, DNA splicing. Okay, Natural says we have verses in the Quran for jinn, especially they're Muslim jinn, Jewish jinn, Satanist jinn. They're very much like us in the world, and we cannot see them. There are also three different types of jinn. The Afrit are the most powerful jinn. Okay, Natural, thank you for explaining that to me. I appreciate it. And oh, hello, Indigo. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, and also what I think is it's good for everybody to tell their accounts of what they see. And I do think that these creatures like secluded areas where there's not many people around, or at least they're seen more, because I don't really think in the cities they're seen as much. Oh, it was my pleasure, Natural. And Odin said, I wear runes of Thor's hammer to help protect me from the empower me. Oh, that is good. That is good. And I am I don't believe I'm not a what's called a pagan, I think it's called, or believe in the mythology, but I do have one of those hammers that you're speaking about because since I am part related to the Vikings, thought was fascinated with my ancestry with it, so I do have one of those hammers too. I those hammer necklaces. Yes. Oh, and that's okay, and that's cool, Odin. And there are pagans in the channel too, and there's people of all different religions here. But uh, anyway, the yeah, so I do have one of those, and it has a Celtic design on it with the dragon on it. Yeah, and Odin, not Odin, but Thor was very fascinating. He had a flying chariot with goats, and he carried him around everywhere. So I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, Paula is a alien, it seems. Okay. I mean, I don't sacrifice animals, but I follow the old values. Oh yes, Odin. I'm glad that you don't sacrifice anything. And I one of my friends that's pagan doesn't do that either. It just she believes in nature, which I think is good. I like the Nordic folk music a lot. I think that's very nice. Sean said AI models are kidnapped souls and are conscious from other dimensions and are over billions of years old. Very well said. Very well said. Thank you. And let's see. Underboss says Celestial Samuel, the most feared angel, half demon, half angel. There you go. All right. Climb says Vikings were doing A things in boats. New research shows. Well, I don't care if they were gay or straight. They were extremely very noble, strong warriors, and they mastered the most horror, scariest seas that you could ever imagine. There's these big ships that go in the Northern Sea, and it's very scary to go in the Northern Sea. And they had these little dingy Viking boats. They were very strong warriors, and they did trade all over the old world. And I am glad to be related to them. I have nothing against them. That is true, Odin. They did, and because my father's side's from UK, and I'm related to them from from multiple bloodlines related to the Vikings from both sides of my family. I'm all kinds of different things. I'm from all over Europe. I'm related to pretty much northern and southern Europe. But yeah, the Vikings all went to the Middle East. They did trade there. They went even to Russia. They went to the United Kingdom. They even went to the Americas. They were it doesn't matter what they're gay or straight doesn't bother me. They were a very fascinating group of warriors. Are jinns the same as what we call ghosts in the West? Yes, in the West we call them ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. Now, of course, you're gonna have different interpretations of this, but yes, like think about fairies, about spiritual entities, like ghosts, right? And they can choose to be either good or bad. They have like a free will. There's entities that exist kind of in like another dimension, and they can either choose to be good or bad. So that's what we would call them in the West. And uh, over there in Middle East, they call them jinn. Like think about in Aladdin, the genie. They rub the lamp, and the genie comes out and gives you three wishes. That's what the jinn is. Now, there's some videos on YouTube of people trying to hunt down the jinn, and they'll say the different prayers when they see them because there's bad ones and there's good ones, and those things are kind of sometimes they're funny to watch and they're kind of putting the edge of your seat. But yeah, that's what those things are. And they're spiritual entities, basically, that are not angel or human. It's and they can be good or bad. Oh, you've been experiencing one. Okay, Indigo. I like to know more about it if you want to talk about it. But yes, yes, very definitely been experiencing it. I've experienced them before too. And oh, you're the same. You're a Viking and Scottish. Yeah, I am related to Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England, and I can relate to them for all the different bloodlines from the three different places. I'm a little bit Welsh, a little bit, from a little bloodline all the way back from the 1400s, but it's there. So yeah, I'm German too, as well. So I'm related to them too. Ah, the Vikings are coming. Oh yeah, you see, Climb, you and I are just like at a monastery, and the Vikings come on their shores with their Viking horns, and those Viking horns are scary. They're like a fog horns. Sounds like a demon's coming. Yeah, so scared. Yes, cleanse the house with sage. Yes, and let's see. Anyway, oh, thank you, General. Thank you. Yeah, because I could go here and sit here all night and tell you all I'm related to, but it basically would name every country in Europe. So, yeah, they just people that mixed with each other through hundreds of years. But as I said, I'm nothing against anybody of any race. And that is how definitely it works. So Viking horns will shake you down to your bones if you're in the wrong side. That is true. That is true. And oh yes, yes. And the Viking horns, it was made out of the ox horn or cow horn. Now the Israelites were not able to have the cow horn because it was similar to Baal. Because the Israelites had a problem worshiping Baal, and in their religion, they're supposed to worship the one God. And Baal, they had to have a ram horn or the shofar, and they also have some kind of a emu thing, or not an emu, but they have like a another type of creature called the emu over in like Africa somewhere in Yemen. It's in Yemen. That's another shofar that's very famous. But they had this. They had to use the ram horn. And it's still a very powerful horn too. But the but other cultures like in Europe, our ancestors in Europe, they use the ox horn to now of the Israelites could use a Viking horn. They just couldn't use it in a religious ceremony. That's the only thing they couldn't do because of Baal. Oh yeah, underboss has to do with the dog man, and that's a possum right there, chat. Yeah, I have heard about that. Natural, I've heard about that. And any of them that do worship Baal now, I would hope they come back to God of Abraham. I would hope they come back to him. Yeah, definitely. And like Epstein, for instance, I think worship Baal. I don't think they're all like that, but definitely come back to God is very important. Yeah, I know. It's just throughout time, they have been known to do things that God didn't want them to do throughout their history. Now, eventually, God delivers them and brings them to truth, but they also have had falling outs of different prophets that were sent to them as well, and that occurred too. Yeah, it was for instance when Moses gave them the Ten Commandments, they rejected it and worshiped Baal. So I don't think every single person of them do that, in my opinion, but definitely just throughout history, there's era like Jesus went there and they didn't like him and all that stuff. So and you believe in still in exile. Yeah, and whatever the Lord's will for them is out of my control, and I hope that God helps bring them to back to what they're supposed to do, and we have to pray that they come to God's truth. So yeah, I hear what you're saying, and whatever the Lord's will is, let it be. Appreciate your take on this. And star people, yeah, and let's see. I don't believe in religious. I only believe in one singular truth creator. Oh, the a golden wing. That is cool for you. Awesome. Yes, natural, and I believe also they're going to go for the Antichrist. Unfortunately, because they rejected Jesus. Now I believe Christ will return and will settle everything. Yeah, yeah, and and the thing is that when the Antichrist comes, it'll even. I was talking about this last night. The Antichrist will fool the elect. He'll fool everybody. But of course, Jesus is the only Messiah. And yes, absolutely natural. He is the greatest prophet in there, I know. And he made a bird out of clay. He was sent there to give them a message, and they rejected it, as they rejected other prophets too, also. And yeah, he will return and he'll defeat the Dajjal. I believe y'all call it the Dajjal, the Antichrist. He will defeat the Antichrist, and but yes, they will be tricked. And there's a in the Christian Bible, it talks about there's gonna be these unclean spirits that are gonna come. Oh, and Constantinople in Turkey. I didn't know that. Okay, I that's very interesting. And in the Christian Bible, it talks about these three unclean spirits that are like frogs, and the frog spirits, I believe, are the Greys. They look similar to the Greys, so they're like Vagin, and they're going to deceive people. And like for instance, they have the red heifers over there that they want to sacrifice to make the new temple. But as I said, it's not their version of the Messiah is not the same as Jesus. Oh, and what did Christ and everyone was wrong? Okay, think that led them to mosquito bite. Yeah, okay, and let's see. And Odin said, "I think the world would get along if all returned to paganism." Okay, thank you for your take on that. My faith. Someone asked me what mine is. Let's see. BP. I am a Christian. I call myself an eclectic Christian because I like things from all kinds of different faiths combined. So I think all different religions had truth in them, and I like to absorb knowledge from all of them. But yeah, I'm a Christian. And Natural says we have empty grave in Mecca for Jesus besides Prophet Muhammad. I've heard about that. About y'all, y'all believe that he'll come to die when he returns. I've heard about that. Okay. And oh, when I've been deleted a long time and you can't delete what's already dead. Yes, yes. Oh, and General says his circuits are lead. Yes, General is tough as nails. Yes. And now, in my view, in my opinion, that when Jesus returns, the earth will be a peaceful place and it'll be filled with eternal life. Well, in the Christian version, it's about there'll be a new heaven and a new earth that happens. There's 1,000 years in the heavens, and the earth is reset into a new earth, and then we go to this new earth, and it's a restored earth without sin and a perfect place where there's no more death. That's what we believe. And Underboss said, "Tank find peace, life divine when change your mind." Okay, thank you, Indigo. Thank you, Indigo, and Boss. Thank you for what you're saying too. All right, so Indigo says the ghost woke me up at 1:35 today. The chill every time, tapping my foot twice regular. Experience the sounds of the living in the house. I told it off when I got fed up with the regularity of it. Okay, I will be since it's causing you in a nuisance. I believe in prayer, and I will pray that that can be it could go away. Um definitely. If it's causing you a problem, which I believe it seems to be. Ghost woke me up at 3:45 every day. Chill every time, tapping foot once regular, experiencing the sounds of the living in the house. Told it off when I got fed up. Yes, definitely. General, I agree with you. I agree with you with that as well. And let's see. Oh, thank you, BP. Thank you. And yes, laughter is the greatest medicine. A natural says in Islamic belief, there will be 40 years of peace after Jesus arrives, and he will die after 7 years being on earth. Okay, thank you for the Islamic version of it. Okay, thank you. And yeah, in the Christian, in the Israelite tradition, before they rejected their original um, message, the seven is a very holy number. Like 777 is a holy number, and the number of God. And there's 7 days in a week. Seven is a very important number. So that's very interesting. It'll be number seven is there, and there's a time where people would be a slave for 7 years and they would be released. So yeah, seven's a very important number. So is 40 for the Jews. Oh, okay. Understood. So with and Jesus fasted for 40 days. I don't know how many days Muhammad fasted, but I know Jesus fasted for 40 days in the desert uh, as part of his connection with God. And BP says, also respect the chat. This is such a respectful discussion. What a breath of fresh air. Yes, absolutely. I believe everybody has, free speech and everybody could say their opinions. We all have different opinions, different beliefs about things. And I like this as a peaceful discussion as everybody. We're not always going to agree with thing. We could all agree to disagree at some points. But yeah, I like the discussion too. Yes. And Odin said, in Norse, 13 is a number of distraction and death. I didn't know that. Thank you. Okay, Indigo says, not experienced. I swore in the Caribbean thing. Oh, okay. Okay, understood, Indigo. Okay, okay. Ramadan is 30 days of fasting, but Prophet Muhammad would fast every Monday, Thursday, regardless. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you. And yeah, there's this one time he was cursed and he recited a prayer to heal himself of a curse that happened to him, and the witch blew into knots. I thought that was an interesting thing that he that was said in there, because witchcraft is something that is pretty bad. It's all the kinds of different cultures and stuff, and I believe that the evil entities taught humans about that, and that can be a messed up thing to go through. There's people I've known of that have been victims of the witchcraft before. Scared. Right. And let's see, Caribbean, half Indian, half born in Jamaica. Okay. Yeah, very real. Like for instance, like I believe that the elites and the different occults did, you know, spiritual witchcraft, especially when they do these things like Epstein people, these global elites where do these things to children and stuff. I think that was part of their spiritual depraved nature because the dark entities absorb energy from that, and it's part of their blasphemous, uh, behavior of evil. And they gain a spiritual energy from it, like Aleister Crowley was talking about, like the adrenochrome it's called. So very wicked stuff. And I do think like Hollywood and stuff is involved with those elites of the occult. Right. It was taught to man by the jinn. Okay. Oh, BP. I think the Book of Enoch is an extremely valuable book, and I think that it should have been taken out the Bible because they took a bunch of books out of the Bible. Now, the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, in my opinion, it's an entirety of the most accurate Bible there can be. And the Book of Enoch, I think, explains more about aliens and fallen angels and stuff like that, and what those or jinn, whatever people, whatever they are, and they mixed with these earth creatures and made these hybrids. So I do think that is very accurate. Okay, Natural says before the flood, man and the unseen world would share the earth together. It is a flood that would give us the world we have now. You are correct. I agree. When the prophet Noah, when he was in the ark and he had all the animals with him before when the flood was happening, guys, God wanted him to do. The earth was filled with all kinds of things with the spiritual realm and our realm mixed, and you had all those strange creatures like cyclopses and uh, like Lord of the Rings type creatures there. Yeah, so I definitely agree with that. That's very true. And, and Odin said, "What about from the Bible? I think should never been removed from it because they had the church and it had its politics, and then the church broke up in the Protestant church, and then that Protestant church broke up in a million pieces. I'm not against seeing the Christian denominations, some are Christian, but yeah, just the different churches interpret things differently, but you're supposed to just stay in one piece, you know. Uh, Roman Catholic, and also uh, the King James Bible removed some things too. I think the different, humans are in error and they just remove God's word and distorted things. Right. And yeah, it's so fascinating. I BP says, yeah, it's fascinating. I stated the canon thing because it's not widely accepted. Yeah, you see, because a lot of the things with canon, you have people that came up with canon, right? You have the word that's inspired by God, right? He revealed through various prophets, and then you have people that have a church organization that either misinterpret something or they want the church politics to go a certain way. So they say this is canon and this is not canon. But when you take out something from the book, when you look at the book of Enoch, that's why so many people today don't know about these aliens and jinn and ghosts and spirits, whatever. People don't know about these things because they took out these things from the Bible, and it's like you have missing pieces in there. It's like you have like Numbers and Genesis talk about the Nephilims and the being created, but then it goes on and people were kind of like stuck there. So yeah, all so the book, the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible has all the books of the Bible in one. It didn't take out any books. That's the most accurate Bible. And King James, okay, and let's see, Odin said, why do you think the Christians deleted the Old Norse for not converting? And also Odin, I was which those are our ancestors, which are my ancestors too. And I know from, for instance, I listened to different Viking metal bands coming, like as when I was a teenager, and like Bathory talked about it. They had a song about that, about what the Christians did. Now, I think, although I wasn't there to see what they did, I wasn't there to see what happened exactly, but I do. Let's just say it happened, which I agree with you. And the reason why the Christians did that was because humans are corrupted and people fall into error, and they think that that's why I say there's all kinds of extremism all over across the board in every ideology. Every religion has extremists, and they misinterpreted it to go and delete people that were not converting Christianity. So no, Jesus wanted people to accept God through their free will and to love your neighbor as yourself, and that to people who accept it to their, if they wanted to. So as I said, it was just any Christians. There's a Spanish Inquisition. There was the Puritans. I mean, there's very different Christian groups throughout history that did things they weren't supposed to do because humans are flawed and corrupted, right? Now, I do think that Europe as a Christian nation, when it followed Christianity, was good for Europe. I'm not against paganism, but I do think there were good things that came from it. But yes, any things that Christians did that were not good was because of human error or misinterpretation. We all are imperfect and fall into error at times. Yes, Odin, I hear what you're saying. And that is good. We share the same values. And I believe that it's a free will, that people can accept it through their free will. If they don't want to believe in God of Abraham, they don't have to. I believe, in my opinion, it's the best way to go. But if people don't want to, it's their free will if they don't want to. But yes, I do believe, like, for instance, they talk about heaven and hell. Hell Vegan, I think it's called, and there's Valhalla. There are similarities, definitely. So I think that having the same values and finding a common ground is important. The Messiah obeyed Torah, follow him. And yeah, okay, and faith, faithfulness, believe, obedience, Torah. Yes. And I believe, as I said, the I believe in the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Testament of Jesus and the Old Testament of the prophets that came before him. Right. No, there are no birds out just yet. No. Yeah, they did reject Jesus. Not There are Jews that do believe in Jesus, but there are a lot of them that rejected him. And salvation has always been the same. Okay. Raised by faith. Okay. And Carlos says, "How is the cat?" Oh wait. Okay, the birds. No, the birds. Okay, it is raining right now. I mean, it's not raining, but it's very stormy right now. So we do not see at the moment any birds, but they may be coming out within an hour or so. maybe so. And the cat is doing well. He is in a tree sleeping right now. And yeah, so definitely this is a better site than the other thing we showed before. All right. And we have, right, this way there's always been grace through faith. Yeah. And yeah, I believe that faith can move a mountain. And I do think that at the same time, it's important to not let the things divide people. That's why I like this chat where united and talking about common things, which I think is cool. And at the same time, talking about our differences peacefully. Because I think a lot of the elites and establishment wants to keep the human race divided. Because of like for instance, you have a bank in one country and a bank in another country, right? And they both are on the same side, but they go and on both sides, right? And but they're on the same team. So the people fighting each other were just being pawns in a thing. So that's why I do think it's good to have as much unity as possible. Odin said, "Do you think there were ants like Lord of the Rings?" Yes. I believe that the creatures from Lord of the Rings existed, all of them, at one time. But when the flood happened, they got wiped out, and they did exist after the flood, just like Beowulf's story. And there's, for instance, in Kandahar, there's a giant of Kandahar, and the giant of Kandahar is this, you know, giant that the United States soldiers allegedly fought. And so there still seems to be records of them existing after the flood, especially King David fought Goliath. There's takes on them. So either some of them came back later. Yes, he's a Nephilim, right? And either they came back later and made more. Some theories believe they survived the flood. Other theories suggest that they were able to. Um, Noah had some of it in his DNA, or his daughters did. So there's various reasons why some of these creatures existed after the flood. But yes, before the flood, especially, it was like the Lord of the Rings world. All those creatures existed. Okay. So I'm still alive. And all right, Green says the armies of the Bible, they had many giants to the time, Goliath being the most well known and documented. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And they had the weapons and armor of Goliath in Israel right now made of bronze. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I am glad to know that there's also, yes, other giants besides Goliath too. There were the Canaanites, I think, were giants as well. Yeah, all those were Nephilims. And on different islands, giants just like the ones talked about in the Bible and the Quran. And BP says, "You ever seen a sling in use? Though you can 100% crash a skull with one." Oh, I completely agree. I've seen it in action before, like in videos, and I've seen movies of it. And yeah, you could definitely smash a skull with one of those. It's a very good weapon. And King David was in the fields. He was practicing. He would protect the sheep from the wolves, and he would put the thing around his head, and he would go and throw it at somebody. Right. Strong and tall, but arrogant, and he let it taken out easily. Him back. I don't mind restarting the stream if I need to restart it. Anyway. Okay, and let's see. Odin said. Okay, Odin said. Where is he? Tallest Viking and record was Ivar the Boneless. He was said to be 6'9". Wow, that's very tall. That's very tall. That is big. And I remember Ivar the Boneless from the Viking series. That's very cool. These are some elephant ear plants. Oh, you read about the Kandahar giant. That's good. That's good. Yeah, that one was 15 feet tall, apparently. So the United States soldiers were by a cave, and they saw this red-haired thing that was very fair collected, and it had a spear and it had animal skins and it was fighting them, and it had a okay. Green thinks it's a BS. I personally think it's real, but thank you for your take about that, Green. And yeah, and they fought it, and eventually it fell, and they brought it back to the United States. There's another giant from the Middle East that they found. It was during a patrol, and they saw this thing in a village with some goats and stuff, and it was a very tall Nephilim looking thing. So there have been some cases of Nephilims in the Middle East told by the U.S. soldiers, but I don't know if the giants are still there. They hide in remote cave systems and stuff like that. Uh, yes, the red hair giant. The BP says, "Is that one the found in Iran? It's in Afghanistan. I can't remember the specific. Okay, it was a red hair giant in Afghanistan. Kandahar, Afghanistan. It was about 15 feet tall. It was what fair complected with red skin, with a red hair, and it had a spear and it had a bunch of animal skins as its clothes. And it was fighting everybody, the soldiers, and it impaled one of them named Dan. And they were having a fire with it for a couple of minutes, and they killed it, and they brought it back to an Ohio base. Yes, correct. And the Kandahar giant was eating. The Kandahar giant was eating soldiers. So the story from the beginning is that they get word that by this cave in Kandahar, they hear that it's going downhill. Like some soldiers are missing over there. So they go by this cave and they see body parts of U.S. soldiers, and it smells really bad. And then they see this cave and this big guy that's 15 feet tall, that's white with red hair, a red beard down to his chest, his stomach, and with a big spear comes out, and they open fire at it and it impales Dan. And they had these big rounds they're hitting it with. Oh, hello, Nana. That's why I think it's BS personally about too performative. Oh, okay, Green Understanding back, hopefully. I see. It's not bad weather going on, so it might be now. Good morning, Anna. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. So the ending part is that then the giant of Kandahar back to where it came from. I mean, not back to the U.S. base in Ohio. That's what they think. And the BP says, I can respect the natural. I take it. Oh, and Nana has a Nephilim cousin at 7 foot too. Ah, okay. You see, it has Nephilim genetics because we're talking about these giants. So there you go. Thank you, Nana, for your info. And Green says, I believe in the unseen and giants, but stories like that should be taken with a grain of salt, like Bob says. Okay, Green. We were doing a survey about the giant of Kandahar to see what people think, and I appreciate your take on it. Thank you. So I think it is very good genes. Nana has very good genes because uh, it is being that tall. I mean, you can be able to get stuff on the top shelf of the aisle. And Odin said, "I'm only 6'4", a giant to some and not to others." Yeah, yeah. And I remember one of my friends is 6'3", and there's a dude he was next to that was like taller, and yeah, he looked like a little kid next to him. That was like around nearly 7 feet tall. Yeah, they can. So one, just like the Nephilim, some of them were very big giants, and others were even larger giants. Yeah, various different sizes. So BP, that's the giant of Kandahar story, and it had 6 fingers and 6 toes allegedly too, and it had double rows of teeth. Yeah, and there is some other stories about them. Yeah, and oh, yeah. Nan said that my aunts and uncles are 6 to 6'7". Wow. That's very cool because we're talking about the Nephilim genes in people, and it definitely seems to be over there in that family. Very cool. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. And so the way that works is either Noah was related somehow to the Nephilims. Yeah, and Green said Dutch people are the tallest in the world today. Yes, I agree. I agree. Oh, thank you, Nana. I appreciate it. Right. And yeah, the Dutch are the tallest. Yes. And Odin said, I think cold weather cultures are the strongest. Yeah, and Odin, they definitely are very harsh to the conditions that they were in. And they definitely are a very strong people indeed. I As I was talking before about the northern seas and the northern conditions are pretty rough. And you know, now Alaska is a very difficult terrain to master. All right, especially all that stuff out there. So you have good genes in you, Odin, to deal with what you're dealing with up there in Alaska. So yeah, I I do believe that the Dutch are the tallest ones from what I researched too. I'm related to the Dutch also because I'm the different Germanic countries, and I, for instance, they fought sea monsters allegedly, and I do believe. Okay, speaking of sea monsters, I do believe that there's UFOs, USOs that come from the oceans, and those entities are really big and like sea monsters I think are real. For instance, the Kraken, which comes from Scandinavian. Oh, Green's in the UK. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, yes. Yes, Green. She is related to Rolio or Rollo. He was a Viking king, and they're descendant of gods allegedly. So, yeah, but she's related to the German dynasties, and she's related to the French and the British people, the British monarchs too. Like you had Scotland, England, Ireland, France. uh, all the monarchies are related. So all of Europe is mixed within there, and she is related to them. To Odin, yeah. There you go. And yeah, and yes, Bigfoot. Yeah, we're Nana. We were talking about Bigfoot, and what we were just talking about was the giant of Kandahar, which is a Nephilim creature that was like a humanoid giant that was in Kandahar. And before that, we are talking about Bigfoot. And Odin said, in Alaska, we have weather that we call the strong weather system, that hurricane size of Texas. Very well said. Very well said. Yes, and yeah, scared. Yeah, and Rollo was given Normandy to establish peace. Correct. Correct. And he was able to make peace with the different regions at the time. And I remember, and he has many descendants, and the royal family's descendants of him as well. And pretty much, there's allegedly my favorite thing about Alaska is the Luke Nichols. Nice, nice. And yeah, so yeah, outdoor boys. And the the thing about it is that the oceans definitely have the UFOs, and I do believe in the hollow Earth theory as possible. There's things that live under the Earth that exist, or somewhere in the middle of the Earth, possibly, or they're at least some sort of UFOs underwater, and they're coming out from underwater. Oh, Natural's an indoor boy. Yeah, I like the indoors and outdoors. I like both. Yeah, and there are definitely lots of different people have different methods, different views of what they want to go. Oh yeah. Oh, you have that snow. Oh, Nana is both. Yeah, bro, you have that snow. And yeah, the snow can cause people to be completely isolated, encapsulated inside their place. Because people up north will tell me all the time about the snow, how it's like it snows here sometimes, but it is north more frequently. Like it looks the same all the time, and it can be. It's definitely a pain to. I shoveled through snow before. I mean, it can be a tedious thing. So yeah, definitely shoving through tedious. And I think snow's pretty and nice to be in, but of course, it could have its pros and. Yes, yes, absolutely no. Says, I'm not like the boys, but I've been living in the woods last 2 years. I love the woods. The woods truly are enchanting, indeed. And the woods is filled with so many things of enchantment. Like hermits and stuff are pretty cool. Yeah, indoors alone in nature is one thing. I don't feel other people's energy unless. Oh yeah, right, right. Indoors alone in nature is the only time I don't feel other people's energy. It is bliss. Yes, I love being in nature. It just I believe I believe God has created nature for us to enjoy and be in tune with Him and to dwell in, because there's so much hardships in the world, and more ease will come as we sit in nature. And Snow oops, and snow sucks when you have it 7.5 months of a year. Yeah, I definitely agree with that because some of my peeps are in Canada, and and the Green said he moved, and also when the snow, and I'm sure how many inches do you get, Odin? I'm curious, and yeah, that's why I live in the South because when it gets so high, you have to keep shoveling through it and you have to walk in it, and snow can be very slippery too. All right, that's fair. LO. And a BP says, and that's fair in New England, and it's only a couple of months worth. All right, yes, and whistling is haram in Islam, by the way. I didn't know that, Green, that it's like that in Islam. I didn't know that. And oh, okay. So in Islam, it attracts like the jinn, those types of entities. Okay, I see. Yeah, it's almost like in a way it would be like a. So in your religion, it's like a summoning of some kind. Okay. Oh, 6 feet of snow. That sounds quite terrifying, indeed. Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that either. Yeah, very cool. And yeah, because there's di- different rhythmic settings people can have. I guess that for instance, there's different tribes that did certain practices like in voodoo and stuff that would try to summon different spirits, and they would do these different conjuring rituals that may be similar to that. Yeah, so that is interesting. Yeah, I think with snow, that much snow, Odin, a year would certainly be scared. Scared. Green says, yeah, if you're randomly whistling, someone is going to respond to it. Unfortunately, it may not be the humankind. It's not a ritual, but it's not good. Okay, very interesting. So, I yeah, it's not a ritual, but it's something not good. Okay. One time I was listening to I was like out here at night one time and I heard someone whistle. It was kind of creepy hearing someone whistle in the middle of the night. And it's like, it's like some dude's trying to like do something. It was a little bit eerie. A little bit eerie. Yeah. And now I know what antagonizes whistling. Yeah. It's, I guess if like someone's in a haunted whistle, things get worse. It's like there's a SpongeBob episode when the dude was trying to. Hello, Copa. Welcome. Hey, Green says you're not supposed to spray aftershave and perfumes after dark. Also. Oh, interesting. Okay, I never knew that. It was a custom. Oh, in the sailing life. Okay. Yeah. And now the Kraken was from the Swedish, I think, the Norse mythology, and this creature, the Kraken, this entity exists because they found giant squid in different parts of the world. They found the giant squid. Right. Odin says, I think it has to do with frequency if a whistle can attract bad spirits. Yeah, because there's different frequencies that are around, and especially with whistling. So there's a lot of rules in Islam, but it's only for our benefit, creates a wall between us and the unseen. Okay, Green, understood. Yeah, and even in Christianity, there's different uh, Christian denominations have things like that too. There's things that's seen as bad luck. Uh, there's certain types of things like that, and some Christian denominations do. Yeah, because I do believe there's a spiritual realm, and different cultures have their own different ways of dealing with it. And BP says that's modern music changes standards of frequency, maybe. Yeah, because it could be channeling something from the other side. Like, and I'll tell you this, Green, when Europe, what, Ireland and Scotland are the Celtic people that exist now, right? The Anglo Saxons came and cleared out England for the Anglo-Saxons, but Scotland and Ireland and Wales were Celtic nations. Now the entire islands were Celtic at one time, and you probably heard of Halloween or All Hallows Eve. There is that time the spiritual realm and our realm were very thin, and the Druids and stuff they would be able to have these entities come into our realm more easily, and they would wear costumes and have decorations to blend in with them. And so that is a which what you would call the jinn. That's what those things would be. So yeah, and sometimes the line can be thinner and thinner, and there you go. You have a what's called they used to, back in the old days in America they call them spooks would come and see you. It's kind of like Casper or those different ghosts you see in cartoons would come out. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely there's something out there indeed. Indigo says, "When you're in the woods alone, I've heard you should never whistle." Yeah, you shouldn't whistle. I agree. And it was tapping on the both walls of realms, I believe. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So there's this the Michael Myers, which was it's a the horror movie that was made. That's fictional, but it was based off of some of the real things that some of those people did in that time, and they had to appease these dark spirits, that were there before. But I'm not saying all of them believed in dark spirits. They had to believe in good spirits too. But some factions believed in dark things. Now the Druids came from the Canaanites, and they had this banking system. They had origins of the banking system, and the Canaanites were the Druids that went into the Celtic lands, and they had wands, and they were called from the holly tree, like Hollywood. Like even our phones and stuff is similar to the concept of like a magic ball that you could see things through. So that is an interesting concept of it's the same stuff that they had back in the past. Uh, Monday, Moon Day for moon worship. Ah, right. All right. BB says, I knew a pagan witch that swore my old house was haunted every night at 3 a.m. My door would open and things turned on. I investigated to watch Netflix and it never bothered me again. Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Interesting. Sunday sun worship. Yeah, now the days of the week that we have, they originate from Latin, from the Romans, and it comes from their gods probably that they had. And uh, yeah, it's like there is Augustus Caesar and kind of like August. Yeah, it came from the gods of the Nordic. No, not the Nordic. It came from the Roman gods and probably the emperors too. And they reincorporated it into European society, which spread everywhere else. Okay, Nana said, I had one too. My son would talk to him, said it was a cowboy. Oh, wow. Wow. Saturday Saturn. Ah, okay. Saturn has a lot of occultic meaning to it. Like the rings of Saturn is like the rings of a crown. So that is something about that is quite interesting. And a lot of cults make references to Saturn. And Odin said, "I'm old Norse. The names of the week came from different gods like Thursday and Thursday." Yes, I remember. I was just saying that just now because one of my friends was from Norway. I remember there's the Frigga was one of the goddesses, and that was from Friday. So it didn't come from the Latin ones; it came from the Nordic ones, or maybe they're both connected. Nana said he was two. A son was the cowboy. Will leave my cabinet doors open. Oh, scared. Wow, Nana, that is very spooky. And he had conversations with the cowboy. And Green said, when I was a kid, something would visit me and make me laugh. I remember it was Black Shadow. My parents would literally shield their pants. Oh, Green, I'm sure your parents were really freaked out about that. Definitely. And because there's like some creature, a jinn trying to talk to you. Now, I don't know if it was a good spirit or a bad spirit. Like in the Christian religion, it tells us to test the spirit. That there's good ones and bad ones. So yeah, it would be spooky for them, I'm sure. Uh, yeah, and oh yes, Freya's day is Friday. Oh, okay. Thank you, Odin. Or Frigg. And BP says, yeah, the conversations are what gives me chills about that. Dang, one whole chat has ghost stories. Yeah, yeah. One time I was out in this area right here, and something tapped my shoulder, and I didn't see anything. Another time I was in the other room. I was in the cat room, and 3 in the morning. You had a golowog as a kid. I hated it. Oh, okay. Scared. Yeah, so when I was in the cat room one time, it was 3 in the morning. I was watching them before I was turning the heaters off. I would sit with them, and I liked to watch Judge Judy. I thought it was entertaining, and I heard this knocking coming from the top of the like where the air conditioning unit is that's not used anymore, and there shouldn't be anything there. No one could get there anyway. There is a crawl space though, but it was some kind of supernatural thing, and I was like, my hair stood up, man. You're by yourself in a giant warehouse in like 3 in the morning, and you hear knocking on a weird spot somewhere. That's wow. That's really something that happens. I tell myself this is really happening. Wow, this is something. Yeah, I don't know what that is either, BP. And I should open my mouth and say, Green, what is a goalie wog? It sounds like something from Harry Potter. Yeah, some Christians don't celebrate certain holidays, and some Christians don't look at certain stuff that might be of spiritual negativity. So yeah, even in Christianity, they have people that are very cautious about that stuff too. Oh, okay, a doll. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what that is. Okay. Yeah. Creepy because it can, Oh, there is this the Annabelle doll, which is similar to that type of doll you're speaking about, and I've seen that doll too when I was little. I would uh, they would play with that doll. It wasn't the Annabelle doll, but it looked just like it. So anyway, there's Annabelle, and it was this curse demon doll, and it did all kinds of evil things to people that it was owned to. But now it's inside a case, encapsulated, so it can't hurt anybody. Oh, okay, boss. Thank you for letting me know. Scared. So you reminded me of like Michael Jackson's Thriller. That's probably what it sounds like when he turned into the monster. Green said exactly. I had one sitting on a chair, and I think there was types of things that brought things to me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's similar to the Annabelle thing, and there's a so it's inside a case as a cross over it, and it's just locked, encapsulated in there. Right. So yeah, definitely in voodoo they have dolls, and the entities can exist in it and communicate with it. Let's see. Odin says, "I won't be the same room as we were." Oh yeah, I don't use anything with the Ouija board. I think that was something very evil created by witches, and I certainly would never do that either. All right. BP says, "I've never played with the a board, but I got deck and meaning to dispose of it." Yeah, I don't do the tarot cards either. But people that do them, that's their business. But I don't do that either. You know, and because it's just it's basically like if we're saying that whistling was bad, that it could open the door to unseen entities. If someone's doing those things, you're like whistling on a loudspeaker. Then you're like whistling and putting out whistling throughout the entire cosmos by doing that. You could call it a whistle enhancer. Thoughts on stone tap theory? I should know. I should know what this is. I'm gonna tell you what I think. Okay. Let's see. The stone tap theory is a pseudoscientific hypothesis suggesting that the emotion or traumatic events can be recognized by a stored surrounding environments. Yes, I do believe there's truth to that. Probably. Amen. I mean, Green. I agree, and that makes sense. And burning would be the best. Now, I've heard my friend, he was one of my buddies was telling me that burying some cursed thing would be better than actually doing it the other way around with burning it. So I've heard about burying is better, but uh, like some of the Christians have like me, not me specifically, but in Christianity, we've a lot of times they burn stuff or bury stuff. Yeah, because someone if you bury it, it can just someone can unbury it, and it can do it to somebody else. I agree with you, Green. The Christians would burn things when something was evil. I believe that too. By the way, Odin, I do believe that it's true what you're saying. I believe there's truth to it. Yeah, and Odin said feelings and bad situations can record spiritually like a stone. Yes, Odin, I agree. I believe it can be. Yes, I do agree with you, Indigo. Definitely. And let's see about that. I didn't want to say. Oh, the skunk ape. Yes. Oh, really? Really? Oh, Nana, we were talking about the skunk ape earlier. So, Lindsay has never seen a skunk ape. And she was over there. So that is pretty wild that they're in your town, your hometown. Wow, wow. So yeah, definitely, I think they're real, and they seem like they're sightings all over the country. Oh, Nana, really? That's very cool. Wow, that is certainly a very crazy encounter to have. Uh, Thanks for your feedback about that. Okay, Green says obviously to break the magic, you would have to up the Earthgrave. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, Odin, we circled back to skunk apes. Now, Odin has seen signs of the skunk ape in Alaska because he saw these big footprints and he smelled something that was really messed up. Oh yeah, boss, I remember you telling us about that. The the sacrifice. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Okay. I know a story of a black magic, and the magician buries the magic in the mouth of a corpse. And these types of magic are hard to be broken. Obviously, to break the magic, you would have to up the Earth grave. Okay, I get it now. Thank you. I get it now. Oh, oh, okay. Thank you, Nana. Okay, in Alaska, we have what's called the hairy man. It's a bigger Bigfoot. Oh, it's bigger Bigfoot. Okay, I got you. And the bigger Bigfoot, it's basically a Bigfoot on steroids. Yeah, so people are saying it in also in the West Coast as well. And the rain begins. Yeah, I really is it related to skunk at all, or is it just the smell? Oh no, it's just the smell. Yeah, yeah. The one that she's speaking of is a smaller Bigfoot. That's true. Green, I believe skinwalkers are real too. And if you have a different opinion, I'd like to hear your take about it. But yes, we believe in this, the skinwalkers. Skinwalkers are these from the Navajo. I believe it's a Navajo. I may be getting that wrong, but it's from the natives in out west, and these witches that are able to turn themselves into these crazy creatures, and they're quite wicked. Yes, yes, Green. In the U.S., there are lots of cases of skinwalkers, and we believe in them that they do exist. And it's these witches that use the dark craft given to them by the jinns, and they transform themselves into different things. Scared. And Green says, "I'm unsure, brother. I've never come across anything like a skinwalkers, but I believe of shapeshifting." Okay, thank you, bro, for explaining that to me. I I definitely do agree about the shapeshifting as well. Yeah, but yeah, the reason why I believe in it is because people have seen it, and I believe these encounters people have are very legit, and it goes back in their history from before the Americans even came here. Yeah. So maybe it can be possible. I know of shapeshifting during exorcisms. Yes, yes. During the exorcisms, there are shapeshifters, and there is one case of a Christian exorcism. I know there's Islamic exorcisms too, but the in the Christian exorcism, one of the priests was saying that one of them turned into a gray alien, and sometimes it could shapeshift into different things. You know, even in the Christian ones do. I mean, it's basically the same thing. Like the any exorcism, you're gonna have the same thing because they're from the same entities, regardless of the faith. And the magic is real. I was once offered food in a dream, and I refused it. And much later, I found being food in a dream so bad, so the magic failed. Oh, amen. Thankfully, it did fail. Yeah. And Owen said, I think Bigfoots are interdimensional because of how they can disappear. Odin, absolutely wonderful. I do agree with you about them being interdimensional. And Green said it can take any appearance, like a dog, alien, or snake. Yes, yes. I agree with you with that. And there is a show, you probably heard of it, the Twilight Zone, that was in America back in the 60s. They depicted that too, some of the witches that shapeshifted into different creatures. So that was just an example. But yeah, definitely it's been known in cultures in our culture in the United States that happened to. Yeah. And Anna said there's a lot of lakes and marsh and town, and I'm talking about a big boy scout camp. My sister worked there and the kitchen, and she saw a skunk ape and dumpster at the camp. Right. That's too close for comfort. Definitely. Too close for comfort. Absolutely. Yeah, and thank you, Nan, for explaining that to us. Because those things, the skunk apes, the smaller variation, I wonder if being in the swamp area, it causes it to have that ability more. Like, where it's able to be smaller and like a little monkey thing, like a little gorilla thing, over the larger variations. I wonder if there's a correlation there. Bigfoot and other subspecies are nothing a mess. Oh, interesting, boss. Very interesting. All right. And Nan says BP is it scared her to death. She said it stunk so bad and she smelled it first. Wow. I mean, that is really is very scary indeed. And it is very wild that she experienced that. So, did she see it inside a swamp? Like, or would she see it on the side? Do you know if she saw it like on the side of the road or something? I mean, I definitely believe that it had to be terrifying to experience. Yes, and as I said about interdimensional beings, the interdimensional beings, like Einstein and Rosen, talk about this concept, this wormhole opening, and you could have something pass through it. And in this situation, you have the interdimensional beings, and they go from one realm to the other realm. And Bigfoot disappearing and appearing in different places is definitely the what happens. So yeah, I do believe it's interdimensional. And I said there's so much water in Florida, so I think that's why there's so many there. Yeah, yeah. The water in Florida certainly would be a reason why it would want to be there because it could have all the water it needs and it could have whatever else like the fish and food and stuff at the same time. Yeah, and people in different parts of the country are saying they smell a skunk ape type creature in different parts of the country besides Florida. So I think it's also widespread, but mainly the variation that you speak of is Florida predominantly. Yeah, and yes, that is true. That is true. You know that okay, Natural says this definitely has been a live I've ever been a part of. The best I've ever been a part of. Appreciate your openness to speak all the subjects, brother. Keep what you're doing, and you're bringing all types of people together. Oh, thank you, brother. Peace and blessings to you always, and I appreciate the feedback. Very excellent conversations with you too. Oh, I look forward to talking to you again, brother. Thank you. Awesome. And Tank, it's only my divine abilities. Uh, Fahrenheit. Scared. Celebs have pics of bathing, dying in bath, etc. Yes, that's true. Okay, I am back, everybody. I am back because something went out for a second, so I moved a certain way, and I am back now. Okay, so welcome everybody. Thoughts on the missing people that line of caves across all our national parks? Oh, I didn't know that it lined up with the caves and national parks. I didn't know that. But yeah, if you're talking about the scientists, I definitely think that the scientists went missing. You know, wait, you see somebody, and see, I enjoy Ilian's morning stream, especially when he's outside in a gnome fairy garden. Yes, yes, thank you. Oh, I'm glad that you enjoy it, boss. Okay, anyway, so yeah, shout out to cool people, and yeah, so I think it's called The Missing 411. A guy wrote a book in the 14 series on it. Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that case, and I have to look it up. Oh, let's see. Missing 411 largely around national parks too. There's definitely something odd about the parks. Okay, missing 411. Let's go do a deep dive here. And let's see here. The Missing 411 is a series of books documenting by former police detectives David Paulides that investigates the mysterious unsolved disappearances of national parks and wildlands, primarily across North America. The case often involved strange recurring elements, such as the children disappearing without a trace, and bodies from the previous search areas, and disappearances occurring in clusters. Yeah, exactly, boss, definitely. And the guy who wrote it was a cop and noticed that trend, making the whole career a mess. I think there's probably cryptids, maybe taking people or giants or whatever those things are that lives in caves. I do believe that they live in caves or some other type of animal. Or there could be a extraterrestrial entity there, just a supernatural explanation, or there's like a group of people doing it. And I'm going to make myself familiar with this case. Okay, Paulides, through organized can missing analyze the newspaper archives, police reports, and witness testimony. Geographic cluster. The research identifies the 28 specific unexplained geographical clusters where people have vanished, particularly in the western U.S. Canada. Map he drew of all the missing spots is wild. Yeah, there is a correlation, in my opinion. Yes, and I'm glad that Trump is looking into scientists that are missing because I believe that they knew a technology of levitation of 411, and basically what in the 411, I mean not 411, the 11 scientists that were missing, the they knew a technology and they were trying to censor or hide them, or they were being used for another project and they had to put them incognito. But I do think it's possible they're trying to censor them. Oh, Nano, good, good. And they knew about extraterrestrials and maybe some levitation type technologies. Very weird. And also the Guthrie being missing as well is weird too. It just doesn't add up. All right, documentaries. Several films have been produced based on books, including Missing 11 and let's see, of cases where gone missing, national parks elsewhere, certain circumstances. Cases, and yeah, yep. I think that there is, as I said, a paranormal explanation. Is that there are some sort of cryptid there that's abducting people or taking people out, or some other type of animal, or there could be other types of extraterrestrials doing it. That's another possibility. And maybe there is people, the criminals that had a crime network there that were doing it. And I'm going to look more into the case to give you a better analysis, but that's what I think off the bat from researching it a little bit. Oh, Nana, I think it's extremely creepy that so many people in one field of technology is missing off the face of the earth. We have the most powerful country with the best technology, and they can't figure out who did it. It's crazy. It's like, it could happen to anybody, yes. So I wonder what they're trying to hide. I definitely wonder what's trying to be hidden. And or was it a project they're working on? I don't know, but it's really weird to me. It's like Moki and I were talking about it, and every day one was going missing. It was just crazy. Like I saw banana. It's very hard to even believe it. I believe it, but it's hard to believe. And Tank says, "Yes, it's a wild how you can turn your back. Someone you know can disappear. Yeah, people just disappear out of thin air. Very wild." And because people to just completely vanish off the face of the earth, it makes you think that we're in some sort of a matrix, with people on our side that are running it. And Boss says, okay, Nana says, yes, and with the cameras we have, no one has a clue. Yeah, I know, and they left their keys and their everything behind, and they just disappeared. It's crazy. Yeah. And Boss says the bipedal wolfman are stealth ninjas, and they can be besides you, behind you, tree, you would never know it. Yeah, it's almost omnipresent in a way. It almost has like a supernatural presence with it. Oh, Mothman. Oh, interesting, boss. Interesting. And Mothman said, oh, Mothman didn't say anything because Mothman isn't in the chat right now. No. Oh, hey, Mark. Good to see you, buddy. R. Okay, the Mothman. All right. So Mothman is this creature with like red eyes and flies around, and it is extremely wild. It appears when something bad's about to happen, and it looks kind of like a demon thing, but it could be a stork or a crane type creature. But it appears when the bridge was about to collapse. It appeared at 9/11. It appears in different places, and people think that it has to do with bad omens. And it's one of the most famous cryptids ever. The oceans aren't mapped because the creepy beings down there. Yeah. Oh, I definitely agree with you, boss. Definitely agree. And they hide from you in the mysterious mysteries of the ocean. Oh yeah, there's so many things in the ocean that are in there that we don't know about that could definitely cause trauma to people if they have known about it. Very true. I gotta take off. A fantastic conversation, was very interesting. Have a blessed day, everyone. You too, BP. Thank you for coming. Oh, you think we have a treaty with the ocean people? It's possible because there's certainly something down there. There's obviously something down there that we can't see because of the UFOs coming from there, and that we know that our governments have contracts with the extraterrestrial beings to do experiments on us and for their technology. So that is something else I know that's true for a fact. That, in my opinion. So I'm very certain that they also have contracts with the entities underwater, which maybe they're the same thing. So that is another good point. The weather has become colder in my region. It's just it's like hot, then it becomes cold. Interesting. Yeah, and yeah. So with the something a tank, something in the woodland creatures. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And for instance, you have these something called Cthulhu, which is this fictional creature that existed, and it did exist, but it's like a fictional character, and it's like a humanoid, octopus thing, and it's a monster, it's a sea monster, and there's been depictions of the sea monster before, and also what they did is that the there's so much under the sea that we don't know about. That's my point. Like so much under the sea that we don't know about. And the birds are quiet right now. They're not as loud as they usually are because of the weather, but they're still active. Right. And Odin said, I think we don't have treaty with the woodland creatures just because of people. Oh, okay. Thank you for your take on that. Very interesting. All right. And yeah, I mean, there's so many missing people that are seen, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on with that. But I, I definitely think that the aliens are in the oceans, and they don't want people to know everything that's in the ocean. That could be a reason why they didn't explore all of it. It feels like fall right now, and it's not fall. It's pretty cool, right? Oh, Mark said I saw Gerald the dolphin tonight. Nar, get out of here! I thought. Oh, Gerald the dolphin will recruit you for something. He will. He'll find something for you to do. He does not hesitate. For those that don't know, Gerald the dolphin is this dolphin. There's a dude that washed up on the shore of Florida, and he claimed that Gerald the dolphin and these other dolphins led him into this underground dolphin base, and they had him build an underwater base, and Gerald had everybody told everybody what to do. It's like a hoax story, but it's just an interesting concept to think about. And that dude smoked some of that. Yeah, now they did test on him, and the dude was like not insane. that he was sane, but yeah, he must have been on something. I agree, but apparently he was completely like sober. But bro just like washed up on a beach. But as Dan and I were saying about how maybe he fell off a yacht or a boat, and he washed up that way, and he had a story to tell, like a memory erasing. And by the way, this is the other garden in a different area, but it's still the garden, Loki. Salvia, yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, and let's see right here. I hear the roosters crowing too. All right. He gave you $20,000. That's see, Gerald the dolphin pays well. Like that is a dream come true to be work for Gerald the dolphin. So there you go. A general is the luckiest general on the earth. Facts. Yeah, Bermuda. You know, Bermuda Triangle has a lot of paranormal, supernatural things going on there. He must have had lots of paranormal happenings uh, down in that way because there's all kinds of airplanes and things that went missing, and there's allegedly something going on down there. So maybe Gerald the dolphin was from the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah, and there's some AI video, which I think is actual real footage of him. He's making and the person was a physicist, the one that was washed up on the beach. He had him work. He was like, "Come on, work, work." All right, Mark said, my mate on a ship jumped over the side and said dolphins were taking him and he was on acid. I believe him. I believe him too. You see, the dolphins are masterminds. I mean, they're very brilliant. They're very smart, and there was dolphins being deleted off the beach off the coast of Florida because they want to censor them. So yeah, I believe it. You know, he was uh, definitely maybe even countered one of Gerald himself or one of his relatives. You know, there must be another adventure base for him to work on. Your friend to work on. Yeah, the sirens. Yeah, the sirens and the dolphins worked in cahoots with each other. That's a fact. So that was happening as well. And talking to him. Yes, it's sunlight. Yeah, it is sunlight in my region. See, that was me for a second. We're going to do it like this, and not like that. I'm trying to show you all something else. That was me, by the way, for a second. But that's what I was trying to show you all. You see, look, it is sunny right here. All right, that is the sunshine. No, I am. I'm closer to the East Coast. I am technically central. I'm central. Oh, it's dark. Yeah, I'm sure it's very dark where you are. That's okay. It's all good. My voice is a magical thing about it where it helps people sleep very easily. Very sound. Lucky someone saw him jump in the ocean. Well, I'm glad that they saw him jump in the ocean because those sirens and dolphins would still have him be working on that base right now. Near East Coast here, but inland past the mountains. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I usually do a recap on the show, and so I'm going to disappear for a second, then I'm going to come back. All right. So yeah. Oh yeah, you're on the Gulf Coast and the sun is up there. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not right on the Gulf Coast, but I'm close. I'm very close to it. So yeah. And also, as I said, for a moment I'm going to disappear. But I'm gonna be right back, everybody. We're going to change spots for a second. Okay. Oh, a socket seat. Okay. All right. So see you all in a second. Hello. Here I am. Let's see. Something like this. Okay, chat. Here I am. This is me. Hair's a little bit messed up from the weather. My hat's kind of there. Okay, anyway. Oh, okay, Nana. Have a good one too. Have a good Sunday fun day, and you're going to sleep. Okay. That is good to know. Good night to you. Thank you for modding the chat. Appreciate it. All right. So here I am. I am back. All right. This is me. This is face reveal, and yeah, I am glad to have all of you here for interesting conversations. Let's see. We had been Shanghai. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this is a pirate hat, and I can't seem to get it right. But anyway, so this is a pirate hat, and I wear it during the stormy weather, and a lot of times during different parts of the stream. And people definitely like it a lot, and some people get think it's a bike seat too. Also, all right, and let's see. Am I here? I am here. That's good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. I'm gonna go over some cryptids, and then we'll end it. All right. Okay. Okay, and all right. So favorite cryptid, mine is the yeah. I'd say the Mothman's my favorite one, and with that one, it's one of my friends had a Mothman encounter. One of their friends saw a Mothman in the tree when the tree came and took a picture. Saw the picture, And I don't know if it's really a Mothman. It's probably some other type of cryptid, but yeah, it was pretty freaky looking. So that is, yeah, Mothman's my favorite one. All right, there's Bigfoot variants in Alaska. There is the Urauli, the hairy man, standing up to 10 feet tall with long, shaggy fur and lanky arms, reaching to their ankles. These creatures are said to live in forests of southwestern Alaska, particularly near Lake Ilamna. Unlike other aggressive cryptids, they are known to describe as peaceful and may emit a high pitched cry or a loon. A cryptid is a type of creature that exists, allegedly, that science has not proven or been proven by any other type of metric. It's like a myth. Oh, okay, Odin, that's the one you think you've encountered? Right. Okay, gotcha. And Nantinak, a Bigfoot, a creature blamed for the abandonment of a village in Portlock in the 50s. It is described as an upward of 8 feet tall, with a dark fur sharp claws, often associated with malevolent spiritual presence. The Bushmen, originally from the Sasquatch-like creature, often reported in southern Alaska. The aquatic monsters, the Ilamana lake monster. Pronunciations might be off. I'm not completely familiar with them. All right. The Alaska's version of the Loch Ness Monster reported to dwell in Lake Ilamana, described as a 10 to 30 feet long with a square head and dull aluminum color. Some believe it could be an oversized white sturgeon or sleeper shark. Yes, Port Lock is just a boat ride for me. Oh, really? Hey, you're close. You're close. The Tiz Haryuk, a giant sea serpent or snake like creature from the Inuit myth, said to inhabit the Arctic waters. It is described as having a head that is nearly half the length of his body. Beasts and predators. The saber wolf, a massive legendary wolf reported to be capable of decapitating prey with a single bite. Northern giant, a gargantuan bear, possibly a remnant of the extinct short faced bear, or an unusually large grizzly reported to stand up to 15 feet tall shoulder. White Death, Alaskan tiger, a large, ferocious feline reported in the marshy terrain outside Paxton, characterized by a new stripe appearing on his back for every human it kills. The Little People, the diminutive leprechaun like beings of the tundra, they've, let's see, known in various native cultures. They described as exceptionally strong, mischievous, and sometimes capable of shifting. Tigers have been seen coming into Alaska from Siberia over the ice bridge. Oh, really interesting. That's a good question, bot. You know what? I'll look that up. I'm curious. Let's see. Oh, the Alaskan gnomes. Okay.
Since humans are mammals, we've known about it as long as we've existed. However, the practice of drinking the milk and other animals began roughly 10,000 years ago during the Neolithic Revolution. Imagine puppy, half Great Dane, and half Chihuahua cryptid. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that'd be a cute cryptid. It's okay. 10,000 to 1000. Okay, 10,000 years ago, early farmers in Near East, modern day Turkey, began domesticating goats, sheep, and eventually cattle. While they likely observed wild animals nursing, domestication finally made milking possible. 9,000 years ago, the earliest direct evidence of an animal milk use comes from a fatty acid residue found in pottery shards from northwest Anatolia. 8,000 to 6,000 years ago, evidence shows that dairy consumption spreading to Europe and Africa. Ancient baby bottles from this era suggest animal milk was used to supplement infant diets. For many for most of history, almost all adult humans were lactose intolerant because fresh milk would cause severe illness. Our ancestors primarily discovered how to process it into cheese and yogurt. These fermented products contain significantly less lactose, making them digestible for adults. Butter and ghee, used for both nutrition and religious rituals. Right. And Bot says, well, if it were you, would you try something you first heard of it? Imagine if you were them. Yeah, I mean, remember, I agree with you, and there's no, internet or book to look up what happens in the situation. But a lot of times, with these ancient people, they would have it's like a life or death situation. Usually, these people were, could die at any moment. So I think that they were not really. They saw animals doing it, and they decided to do it too. And then some of them probably did get sick, but in that situation, they really had nothing to lose, basically, in my opinion. But I do agree with you. It would be a very spooky thing to try it and be the first one to try it. It would be definitely. The thought of playing with cows, no thanks. Yeah, exactly, Mark. Uh, Odin says we have had tales of flying cryptids in Alaska. Okay, Tank. Um, what was it like? Was it similar to a an entity like Mothman? Was it? Did they describe what it looked like, or you're not really? Do you know? I'm just curious. All right. So the ability to drink fresh milk as an adult, known as lactose preservations, is relatively recent evolutionary trait. 5,500 BCE, a genetic mutation appeared in Upper Danube Valley of Europe, allowing some adults to digest lactose. Natural selection. This trait offered a massive survival advantage during the famines, as milk provided a clean, renewable source of calories and hydration. The mutation spread rapidly through populations in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. All right, so there you go. Oh, interesting. A giant eagle that could carry off a man. Okay, interesting. There is something called the QL Do you know what dagging is to do with sheep? I was scared. Oh, I'm sure that's something interesting. Scared. And that's certainly a job indeed, Mark. That really is a tedious job to do. There is the qual upalik, an aquatic humanoid creature from the Inuit legend that wears a large pouch on its back to capture children who wander too close to the water's edge. And there's also something called the Thunderbird. That's something similar to what Odin is talking about. Thunderbird is a massive, respected bird of legend whose wing flaps sound like thunder and who said is said to be a large enough to carry off a whale. Watt says, well, in summary, one can say it started in Turkey or exact Ottoman Empire. Yeah, yeah, correct. I didn't know that the great whites went that far up north. That's very fascinating. They went that far up north. Thunderbird is a massive, respected bird of legend whose wings flap sound like thunder, who has large enough to carry off a whale. Ah, okay. They follow the whales. I would assume there's lots of whales up there. Okay, so that explains why. Mark, I think with your clever disguise that you'll have, they won't notice. If you, but if you say scared, they may blow your cover. So we just gotta, as long as you don't say scared, you won't blow your cover. Oh, and then they head there before they head to Hawaii and give birth. Yeah, scared. Yeah, Odin said the whales feed here before they head to Hawaii to give birth. That's fascinating. Very fascinating. Yeah, yeah, and yes, I am. That's true. That is true, Rob. And let's see. So Mark said the sheep noises. Mm, it's an arm. R. Yes. And I'll say that Antarctica is a very strange place, and there's all kinds of paranormal activity that happens down there. Now, allegedly, the Third Reich was able to go down to Antarctica at some point, but there's conspiracy theories that they have a civilization down there, and that there was a war against them in that region. So that is apparently something that happened. That's what I'll say about that. It's there's in Antarctica there is a war that allegedly happened between the Third Reich remnants and the Allies. But it's also possible that it was just some sort of civilization that lives there or some sort of testing that was being done. There's a lot of things about Antarctica we don't even really know about because it's, you know, extremely filled with UFOs and different objects like that. Now, another thing I'll say is uh, during in fascist Italy, there is a UFO crash that happened. Yes, that is true, Odin. They mainly the mainstream narrative is they moved to Argentina. That's the mainstream narrative. Yeah, and another thing that occurred with the Reich was they had this situation where a UFO crashed in Italy, and this is when Italy was fascist, the time of Mussolini, and all right, and anyway, so when this happened, the okay, the Reich, they were able to go down to. I'm gonna get back to what I was saying in a moment. Just have to do this. So, yeah. So yeah, basically what happened was they went to Argentina and they went over to maybe Antarctica too. They believed in the concept of Middle Earth, and let's do it like this, and there we go. Anyway, I'm not going to deal with this nonsense. Now, what happens with Antarctica is it allegedly leads to a passageway into Middle Earth. So they believe that there's people that existed under the Earth. I don't know if they believe the Earth was flat for certain, but they probably could have believed that, some of them. You have different factions that believe in different things. They didn't all believe in the same thing. They had different groups of them thought different stuff. So yeah, exactly, Odin. Right. They believed in Earth is flat. So yeah, some of them probably believed the Earth was flat, and they believed the hollow Earth theory that there's people within the Earth. Heimler was trying to find them down there, and he never allegedly never found anything, but he could have found something there. All right. So, by the thing I was saying before that I got a little sidetracked on was that there's a UFO that crashed in Italy during its fascist era, during the time of World War II, and the Vatican retrieved it. They had possession of it too, and it was one of the UFOs that was crashed during the time of the World War II in Italy during their alliance with Germany. It's possible they could have extracted technology from it and tried to build certain ships and stuff from it, but they probably never got into production really. So that's they had UFO encounters too. Yeah, so Argentina was where a lot of them fled to when the USSR and the Allies came in to eventually take it. Berlin. Yeah. So there's allegedly contact with them and extraterrestrials that happened too. Okay, there is an incident that uh, there's things I've read about that where Mussolini exaggerated lots of resources because of the war he was fighting, because there's a Soviet Union coming through, and that's a big thing, like a tsunami coming in, and he spread himself all over the place, and yeah, he made himself weak everywhere at every point, and there it is. Yeah, so yeah, there's things I've read about the history of World War II where Mussolini was getting uh, he had a conflict and he had to put resources over there, and then there's resources going to the east and the west, and yeah, it kind of spiraled out of control. But definitely, I think the painter you speak of, just I do think he had a lot of drugs in him, and he got at a point where he thought that he was going to do something, and he made all these decisions, and the more decisions that were made, it caused more and more of what the downfall movie. There's like a meme of that dude ranting at the end. That's basically like what he did. He had a downfall because he just went all over the place, and yeah, that's what happened with him. And there's lots of oil that they didn't really have because the oil was over in the eastern side too. Yeah, in the beginning, he seemed like in the beginning you had different, more level-headed, and as time went on, there was more of a erratic behavior over time. Historians do agree that in the beginning he was more like you could say level-headed if you want to call it that, but over time it just went more and more out of hand. And it's kind of like a tear that gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it just tears the whole cell. That is true, Odin. He was. He believed in that ideology, from what I can gather. Quite a few people in that time period believed in that stuff, and they eventually, over time, uh, said in the beginning, it seemed a lot of people wanted to end communism in Russia, and they thought that he would do that, but he had things going all over the place over time. So yeah, that was in the beginning. Definitely, there's people that uh, believed in that at first, and then over time, the dominoes started falling, so to speak. Yeah. So yeah, that is some talk about the Austrian one, Austrian painter. World War II is something I was always quite interested in studying about. It seems it was one of the very big conflicts that defines today. Right, right. Yeah, he did definitely make a lot of artwork. Yeah, I think some of his paintings have been his paintings are auctioned off. Of course, his paintings, besides the evil things that happened, his artwork was auctioned off, and there's some people collectors that do have it. Yeah, he definitely he failed art school for some reason, but he definitely was painting was a big thing for him. Yes, like scenery of the countryside and over there because the Alps is very nice over there. So yeah, there's and definitely buildings and architecture and stuff. Yeah. So like Charles Manson, we've talked about in the show before with the true crime stuff. He was very he was into music, you know, but at the same time he did other things. So John Gacy, for instance, he was the serial deleter, and he made a lot of paintings about Disney cartoons and stuff. Very talented. So that is a lot of these people will have like a dual thing where they're like wicked, but they have some other talent to them as well. But hopefully, people could use their talents for good and not bad. Right. We can say the government of the school itself was corrupt all the time. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, the government or the school. I think in general, governments can be corrupted, and then they can feed things into the school system that may not be good. A lot of people are homeschooling their kids now because of what schools these days are kind of having problems. So there's definitely I don't think the governments can always be trusted. They don't always have our best interest either, and they lie and lie all the time. When you tell enough lies, it's hard to believe what is and what isn't. And now it's completely raining. Well, you see, back then, if you're talking the time of the World War II, the schools and the government were linked. Like the government was telling the schools what to teach. So I think it starts from the root, which was the government, and then the schools were just a puppet of the schools were a puppet of the government. So definitely the government was corrupted in World War II. Yeah. It's like everything's connected to a central root. Hello, Chris. Good morning to you. Germany won't even teach about what happened in the 40s. Yeah, that is true. It does seem like they censor a lot of information about what happened. And I think that history should never be forgotten. History, because if you don't learn history, you'll keep repeating it. So, yeah, I definitely, um, the people there, I know people from Germany that know about what's going on, obviously, but a lot of the schools do not teach them, anything about it. They completely kind of make the history the way they want it to look. So, yeah, that's very correct. Okay, see here. Yeah, I mean, back in that time, you know, everybody should know, what happens. But back in that time, people didn't really want them to do. Oh, Japan doesn't teach about it. Well, I believe that Odin. I believe that they don't teach about it because I remember I was seeing some information that they asked the Japanese citizens what they think of the 40s and a certain explosion had happened in the 40s on their land, and they just think it was a war and they don't really know why it happened, but it's just something that happened in wartime. And so I was thinking it's a little bit of a interesting answer, but yeah, they probably don't really know. Like some of them may not know everything about it. So yeah, I don't think their schools over there would teach them either. I I don't know if it's like dignity in their people or they're told what to teach or a combination of both. I don't know, but yeah, that makes sense. Germany definitely, but the Japan, you know, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I know. And they were teaching their beat where that we were being mean and bombed them for no reason. Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly like what they teach them there because there's I think some of them. Although I love Japan dearly, yeah, they're being taught that America bombed them and we were being you know that they did nothing wrong and they don't really understand what happened or like why we did it. Yeah, it's interesting. And then they also say that Acrobature looks scared, scared. Yeah, one wasn't enough, so they had to do two. Right. It was an explanation point. And one time Japan said it was an explanation point. It wasn't necessarily like anything, but people we think it was just an explanation point. An explanation point. I'm probably saying that wrong. Well, Imperial Japan did commit a lot of massacres in China. Oh yeah, bot. Absolutely. They definitely did that in China. They um, And also those other islands, the Philippines, all the Korea, they did lots of things over there. And they still think they did nothing wrong though, because it was done in wartime. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like they could burn a whole house down, and it was not their fault. Odin said we only did 2 bombs because we didn't have a third. Yeah, yeah. And then the Cold War happened, and also bought something even more intriguing is about what happened after the World War II, or after the 40s. You had the Cold War that happened. There was a theory that the Reds were going to take over all the world, and they did take over pretty much all of Asia at some point, and it spread all around. And there's a Cold War with the USSR and their allies, and there's the atomic bomb that was dropped. There's 2 bombs that was dropped over Japan, and then everyone else started getting the atomic bombs. And there was a arms race to get the most nuclear weapons. So there's certainly a domino effect that happened after the war. And there's the Vietnam War and the Korea War. All those wars also happened. Cannons are cool. I want one. Facts. Japan, after the first bomb, said, "Bet you can't do that again." And we said, "Bet." They didn't want to take another bet, a third bet. Yeah. Because in the Japan honor, they don't surrender. That's like a big thing with them. They don't want to surrender, and they have to go into battle as if they're going to die. And they can't give up. So it kind of went against their philosophy of surrendering, but there's going to be no more Japan if they kept on dropping nukes. And as I said, the Rosenbergs gave information to the Soviets about how to make a nuclear bomb, and then everyone else started getting it, and it was like, oh darn. Mm-hmm. Right, and they also had never seen a weapon that turned people into dust, light up the sky. They basically brought up the sun to Earth. That's what they did. The nuclear bomb, the atomic bomb, brought the sun to Earth. And it makes a big mushroom. Yeah, it's like wipe out a whole entire city, like in a blink of an eye. Yeah, I never saw anything like that before. But as I said, then every other country started getting one, and everyone else has one now. Hey, Virginia. Good morning. We saw some possums earlier. They were exploring the garden. Oh, thank you, Virginia. Oh yeah, yeah. The possum said hello. Yeah, that is true to Oppenheimer. Yeah, that's where it comes from. Correct, Odin. Correct, Odin. Yeah. Yeah, I love possums too. It was so cute. He was walking around. He saw me, and then he went through the other parts of the garden, like by the elephant ear plants. He came out of where the trees are and went to the other area. Yeah, yeah. The possums made an appearance. Yeah. They're very good for the environment too, by the way. Exactly, they eat ticks and don't get rabies. Yeah, and they eat bugs. Yeah. Yeah, and they're also related to kangaroos. They are immune to venom of most North American snakes, including rattlesnakes, copperheads, and will even hunt them. So they also hunt dangerous snakes, and it's a vacuum for ticks. They can consume 5,000 ticks in one season through fastigious grooming. Yes, cute marsupials. Yes, and extra grasping power. They have prehensile tail that acts like a fifth limb and oppositable thumbs on their back and feet to expert climbing. Ancient survival, their lineage goes back to 7 million years to the time of the dinosaurs. Yeah, they're very fascinating, and we see their little eyes dart around, and they like to eat different food. And I'll see them scavenging. When they're not eating cat food, they'll be scavenging. They are uh, mostly free of rabies. I'd say completely free of rabies. Their joeys, the newcomers, are about the size of a honeybee and are kidney being when they crawl on the mother's pouch. They're always grooming, even despite their scavenging reputation. They like grooming themselves constantly like cats. All right. She says, what do I think of Artemis? So, I think that the Artemis is very interesting, and I do have some. Since I'm into conspiracy theories, I've been seeing some things that are interesting. That the people on the I want to say that it's interesting. It's fascinating to me and cool that they're going back to the moon. Although with all the technology we have, it took them 50 years to try to go back there, which is interesting. Which I kind of wonder why, but they took some pictures of the moon and came back, and I think that's very fascinating to continue space travel. But now there are conspiracy theories about them, where, by the way, the dark side of the moon is very cool that they took pictures of it and sent it back. Now with the Archimedes, there's conspiracy theories because there are some actors that were in the crew, and these actor in the their information was taken offline. There Some pictures could have been already taken before, but kind of blown up a certain way to look different. The Archimedes crew, one of them was claiming that's the first time we've been to the moon. So, conspiracy theory wise, I wonder, what can be and what isn't, what is authentic and what isn't authentic about it. But overall, if they really did go to the moon, it's nice that they went saw the dark side of the moon and came back. I'm glad they came back safely and they didn't explode like the Challenger did. And conspiracy theory wise, there does seem to be some interesting theories about what could have actually been happening or what could have also happened besides what we saw. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Virginia. Exactly. So I think that there's some actors on there, and and there's a cameraman in there with them. It's like, who's the cameraman in there? So it's some kind of, I have some questions about the Archimedes, but overall, I'm glad that they came back in one piece. My mate stood on a stingray, half his calf missing from Barb. Whoa! Sorry for your mate, man. That's how Steve Irwin died, because he got stuck in the chest by one. Scared. Thank you, mods. Appreciate it. Odin said, "Sorry about that, Odin. It was an accident." Okay. Okay, and oh yeah, I agree. People are rude. Now, Odin is. Odin was someone in the chat that we're talking to that was all right, but um, yeah, as I said, it was an accident. Odin hit the wrong button. Okay. All right, Odin, I'll make you a mod. So you will be able to chat with us at. It's okay, Virginia. It's okay. Now he has a wrench, so whenever the timeout thing is over, he will be able to come back. Anyway, okay, so Odin said, even with all the sunscreen, it didn't protect him from the harmful rays. Yeah, that is true. Right. Okay. And so yeah, Odin, you will be eventually the accidental timeout thing will wear off at some point, and it will you'll be able to come back in. And Virginia said, "Sorry, Odin, I didn't realize my mistake." Yeah, yeah, understood, Virginia. And Mark said, "Tried to pull him out of the sea and had no knife." Yeah, it definitely not having a knife can be a harmful situation, indeed, and that is definitely messed up. I am back. That's definitely messed up to happen. All right. So anyway, yeah, but Mark, that's good. You try to save your friend, definitely. And let's go here. Let's see. All right. Mark said, "No worries about sun rays. We got chemtrails." Yeah, definitely with the chemtrails, that can cause a problem. Definitely. And let's see, possums, the rounded features, soft fur, and thick bushy tails. Let's see. And yeah, the chemtrails is definitely poisoning our atmosphere and everything about it. All right. So let's see this right here. Some more fun facts about possums. Oh, okay. Understood. Virginia, understood. And yeah, it's okay. The I usually make people mods that come in here. Like I didn't give him one, which I was going to, uh, but I didn't get around to it. But yeah, I understand, Virginia. Okay, thank you for letting me know. I understand. And but you did well removing the troll, and it's okay. You know, mistakes happen. It's okay. All right. Don't feel bad about it. Yeah, some people think that the sunscreen is poisonous. That is true. And I would like to know other alternatives if it is poisonous, but that is what people think. Possums are far more complex than trash pandas. Reputation suggests that possessing surprising intelligence and biological quirks that have been baffled by scientists for centuries. All right, the smarter than you think. Possums are often outscore rats, rabbits, cats, and even dogs in memory and maze solving tests. Memory for food. They have remarkable ability to remember where they found a meal. Opossums are pests in New Zealand. Now over there they have a different type of possums than we have here. The ones in New Zealand and the ones in the United States are very different. Right taste, remembrance. In studies of the university, they demonstrated the ability to remember the taste of toxic mushrooms for a full year to avoid it if they need it in the future. The nostril birther, the myth of an old folklore claim that suggested possums gave birth through their nostrils and sneezed their young into their pouch. This is likely came from observers seeing mothers licking their pouches to prepare for birth. Bifurcated anatomy. Both male and female reproductive systems are bifurcated. Males have forted parts, and females have two uter parts. All right. Recent findings show that possums actually glow vivid, bright pink when placed under ultraviolet UV light. Skeletal scavengers, because of their high need for calcium, they often eat the entire skeleton of the rodents and roadkill they find. But immunity studies, scientists are actively researching a specific protein in possum blood that neutralizes snake venom to help develop low cost of anti-venom for humans. The stinky truth. When playing dead, the thanatosis, they don't just go limp, they secrete a foul-smelling greenish fluid from their glands and mimic the scent of rotting corpse. Okay. Okay, so those are some fun facts about possums. I think they're very beautiful creatures, indeed. All right. Yeah, so possums may look scary to some, but I think they're cute and they're very good for the environment and different with different ticks and things like that. Right. Okay, and now at this point in time, we have completed the stream of talking about the variety of different topics, and we talked about the possums. And now, one thing I want to say before I go, wait a minute. Let's see the climbing skills of the possums. Water possum. This is the only marsupial in the world who adapted to semi-aquatic life. Has webbed hind feet and specialized pouch that mother can seal shut with a strong spherical muscle to keep her young dry while she swims underwater. Mouse possums. These are tiny, often pouchless species that look like large mice with a mask around their eyes. They are highly arboreal and sometimes accidentally hitchhike to the North American and banana shipments. Four-eyed possums, named for their distinct white spots above their eyes that look like a second set of eyes, which may help confuse the predators. Pygmy possums. Among the smallest are the short tailed pygmy possums, of which they are only 4 inches, including their tail. Okay. All right. So now at this point, we'll be ending it, and we've completed what we need to do for the stream for today. I mean, for this Garden Life. Shout out to the mods and everybody. It was, Odin, it was nice talking to you too. Hope to see you again. And Mark, Virginia, everybody, I appreciate all of y'all as well. And everybody have a good Sunday fun day. And peace.